dreams seem far, don't run away, don't run away, don't run away. Do whatever it takes, whatever it takes. 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 When your dreams seem far, don't hide away, don't hide away, don't hide away. Do whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes, whatever it takes. I can't keep on waiting, waiting. Don't you keep me waiting, waiting for you. I can't keep on waiting, waiting. Don't you keep me waiting, waiting for you. There's no time, you and I are out of time. I can't keep on waiting, waiting. Don't you keep me waiting, waiting for you. I can't keep on waiting, waiting. Don't you keep me waiting, waiting for you. Oh, when life gets hard, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. When your dreams seem far, don't run away, don't run away, don't run away. Do whatever it takes, whatever it takes. 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 When your dreams seem far, don't hide away, don't hide away, don't hide away. Do whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
是02，现在在我旁边呢就是 Nova 的宪和 Z， 来跟大家打个招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是 Nova 的宪。
Hello， 大家好，我是 Nova 的真。
其实已经感受到了现场来自这个宪和 Z 他们的一个朋友的一个热情了。今天我知道你们的父母也来到了现场，那首先有没有什么话想要对他们说的呢？
就感谢他们一路以来的支持，谢谢。
很害羞的、腼腆的笑了一下。那 Z 呢？
谢谢你们来到现场支持我，我爱你们。
还是非常直白的一个表达方式。那其实我知道两位也非常的不容易，在外征战，一路拿到了 K2KPO 的冠军，紧接着就转战世冠，从韩国的小组赛打到8强，终于回到家乡了。怎么评价自己一路以来的表现呢？
经过这几个月的努力，我们 Nova 还是来到马来西亚。
来到马来西亚了，那 Z 呢？
我觉得还挺满意的，因为在 K2KPL 拿了冠军嘛。然后我们会不断往前进的方向努力，往那个打破 KPL 战队的目标。对，
其实能看出两位还是有很高的一个信心和冲劲的。那其实我们也比较好奇的地方就是，你们最欣赏的 KPL 选手是谁呢
？EDG 的 Coco。
Coco 看来在马来西亚真的很受欢迎哦。那 Z 呢？
今天对阵的E-Star的 Cat。
哇，那你最欣赏的选手就是你今天的对手，和他交手，你觉得要格外注意的是什么呢？
对线细节吧。
对线的细节，那会不会比较有压力啊？毕竟他也是 KPO 的顶级中路。
不会，因为我有信心。
有信心。好，那最后我们用家乡话说一句 Nova 必胜，好不好？3、2、1。
Nova 哥吧。
好的，也是感谢二位接受我的采访。接下来把画面交回给解说席。好的，欢迎来到赛前采访席，我是02，现在站在我旁边呢就是 E-Star Pro 的 Alan， 来和大家打个招呼吧。
Hello， 大家好，我是 E-Star Pro 的 Alan 啊，好久不见了。
好久不见，也是 Alan 很久没有上采访席了，今天一看，怎么瘦了呢？
也不是说瘦了吧，就吃的没有以前的好了。
哦，那你觉得？
自己国家的吃的比较顺，
那你觉得
舒服一点。
我国哪里吃的比较舒服，最舒服啊？
俱乐部的菜。
还是俱乐部的菜？我以为你会说深圳呢，深圳不想去吗？
毫不炫耀地说，我曾经在深圳吃过一段时间。
哦，很低调啊，低调低调。我们今天其实聊一下，今天我们看到，刚刚你也看到 Nova 选手接受采访，现场的呼声非常高，有什么想对支持他们的人说的吗？
我觉得我们俱乐部的粉丝相对来说可能会比较多一点。
听一听， 好像是这样的，有点火药味了呢。好，那我们就问一个比较专业点的问题，艾伦，就是因为之前 eStar Pro 在小组赛的时候也是一波连胜嘛，但是最后一场比赛是0比3输给了RW 侠，大家都在想说，你们是在保存实力吗？
就常规赛的时候，就是肯定不会去暴露更多的东西嘛，然后也是会，同样还是以一个常规的形式去打嘛，然后更多的是去在小组赛去找一些，就是自身的一些队伍的不足什么的，所以就输也是挺好的。
输也是一件好事。好，那也是感谢呢接受我的采访，接下来把画面交回给解说席。
Nothing can bring us down, down. I can't keep on waiting, waiting. Don't you keep me waiting.
Hello and welcome to the 2019 KCC. Ooh, today we have what might be the most fun match to watch of the entire quarterfinals. It's gonna be eStar Pro versus Nova.
It's gonna be very interesting to watch because we're seeing like a lot of Nova players, their families are here, and we're seeing a lot of audience, a lot of fans from eStar Pro. So definitely one of the most exciting game ever. So this is the third day in 2019 KC knockout stage where eStar Pro and Nova will be fighting over for the third spot to get into the semifinals.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about yesterday. My two favorite team, my favorite KPL and my favorite KRKPL, to specifically watch just because of the strategies they employ. eStar Pro not having to rely on any one player, and Nova Esports at the counter initiation. Anytime esports is going to engage, and we know they love to engage, Nova's going to be prepared to counter initiate on that. That's going to lead for some really interesting team fights.
You know what is really interesting is I wanted to look for the historical records of these both teams, but since they're from different division, since they're from different group in group stage, 0 time of the matchup in the history. So this is their every first time on the entire KPL or KCC stage for like having this match with each other. And let's see the starting lineup for both teams. eStar Pro, Nguyen, Huahai, Cat, Allen, and Wumi stay unchanged for a long time. We can see the stability of these 5 players are showing us. And their opponents, Nova, Yueli, Redeem, Zan, RG, and Xian are still the first starting lineup. I mean, they're trying to change and find the most suitable combination during the group stage, and luckily they did. They find these 5 players at the same time, and this will be their starting lineup for today's match.
You know, this is really interesting to me because, like I said before, eStar Pro, they don't rely on any one player, but Nova's very heavily influenced by Redeem. Redeem is like, eStar really influenced how the meta and how Nova was going to handle that. So I'm sure eStar Pro has some stuff worked out to help deal with this guy. I'm wondering what Nova brought to counter that.
So both teams, one of the team are 2019 KPL Spring Season Final Champion versus 2019 KR KPL Spring Season Final Champion. And let's find out who can be the stronger one.
从首尔来到吉隆坡，骑士们不畏惧前路，在淘汰赛中披荆斩棘。强者并不是去回忆曾经的荣耀，磨砺的脚步终将伴随英雄重回山巅。纵使意欲论剑，吾等也将血战到底。唯有力强于势者，才可谓之侠。面对高山，依然要展露北美的锋芒。胜负未决，雄鹰期待展翅翱翔。在绝对的实力面前，任何智谋皆为虚妄。最高处的风景，再熟悉不过，不介意再看一遍。有句话叫做“高处不胜寒”，星辰也是很多时，我们会让吉隆坡变成我们的主场。通过山顶一路注定险要，但可望巅峰的人又怎么会害怕悬崖绝岭，波折千万，够胆再战。山下的风景终究不如山顶壮丽辉煌。QGhappy 的荣耀会延续在这个夏天。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2019 Honor of Kings World Champion Cup quarterfinals. I'm your host, Bag. Tonight, Nova and E-Star Pro, who are representing the highest form of power from their respective regions, will fight for their honor on the stage. Winning will secure their spot in the semifinals. But first, let's welcome our contestants, E-Star Pro! Top Nguyen! Jungle Wahai! Mid Cat! Bottom, Allen! Support, Wuming! Now let's welcome their opponents, Nova Esports! Top, Yuali! Jungle, Redeem! Mid, Zen! Bottom, RG! Support, Xian! Both teams on stage are ready to start a battle for glory! The winner will keep their hope for the finals, and the loser will see their journey finish right here. Let us witness together who will make it to the semifinals. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Let the battle begin!
淘汰赛的第3场比赛如约而至，由 E-Star 对阵 Noah。这是一场 KPL 赛区和 KRKPL 赛区2大赛区冠军之间的交锋。E-Star 的中路选手 Cat 作为指挥和节奏的带动者，是 E-Star 的绝对核心，其法刺无人能挡。小组赛中更是拿出狄仁杰和李白配合队友打出新的战术，体现出 Cat 强悍的个人实力。他的全面性也使得战队的体系更加多样化，而新人花海更是给予我们很多惊喜，掌控节奏，输出爆炸，无论是边射还是野核体系都得心应手。E-Star 正以一种强势的姿态展现着他们的实力，而 Noah 作为一支成军仅仅数月的队伍，在征战 KRKPL 的第1个赛季就拿下了春季赛的冠军。本次世界冠军杯小组赛中，Noah 分别从 KPL 赛区的2支战队手中拿下小局的胜利，而选手 RNG.M 更是状态正盛，使用百里玄策 carry 全场，斩获4杀。Noah 作为 KRKPL 之光，教练不平就是光芒背后的男人，从默默无名到冠军。再到世冠出现，他带领的 Noah 在告诉 KPL 不要自满，身后永远都有很多强力的追赶者，同时也让大家都见识到了 KRKPL 赛区冠军的绝对实力。这是一场2大赛区冠军之间的战斗，也是2个赛区现阶段最强实力的碰撞。是 E-Star 保持强势，还是 Noah 能追赶上 E-Star？ 究竟谁能延续自己的荣耀之路？
No, that is a jungler.
屏息以待。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to witness Nova Esports versus E-Star Pro.
So both teams are representing the highest power and highest honor from the division, and right now today they're gonna fight over with each other, trying to defend their honor. So for E-Star Pro, 5-1 in Group A, only got defeated once by RW. So I was looking at a lot of data from E-Star Pro. They actually have a number 1 and number 2 kill percentage and kill per match and assist per match in the entire league. I mean that these teams can, they kind of want to initiate those fights where they're very highly efficient on their engagement, and their executions are perfect, their evasions are fast, and their team fights are a lot of aggressions are coming from their team fights.
Well, that's just the thing about E-Star Pro. They have an amazing early game, and we know from history that Cat, oh my goodness, the only mage that just initiates, right? Like, normally the mages are going to play those chip damage, are going to be on the back line, but Cat, he's like, let me get right up in here. He likes to play those team fight heroes, throw this man on the Chang'e, on Chang'e, and just let him dive. It's awesome. Now, the cool thing about this, though, is Nova, where they really excel, isn't the early game, isn't the initiations. They end up excelling on the counter initiations, the late game. So we've got 2 teams that capitalize on each other's weaknesses here. Who will be able to execute it better? That's what we're about to find out.
One typical character about Nova is they have the shortest time per game within the entire 12 teams in 2019 KCC. Only 15 minutes per game, which means that they tend to win very fast, but another thing is they tend to lose very fast.
Yes.
So in this game, we'll together witness who will get the early gameplay between these teams. Whoever got the early game lead might have the victory back home. So we're seeing like, you're always saying that E-Star Pro shines at the early game,
yes,
but that's not the truth. They also thrive at mid game. So once they got like 8,000 gold lead within 4 minutes during the mid game, just imagine how many snowball they have done within 4 minutes to get 8,000 gold lead.
Yeah, it's not that just E-Star Pro, only excels at the early game. They excel at early, mid, and late game. This is a dominating team. The one thing that's in my mind that you have to look out for is that this is a team that has a very vast hero pool. It is deep. I mean, Cat alone used 9 different heroes in the match. He played 3 different positions.
Including the jungler and the marksman.
Exactly. So you know that there's going to be no issues from these players coming out in band draft, coming out and playing heroes. They're going to be able to play through all 7 rounds, quite arguably on heroes that they're strong at. Nova has to know this too, and then they have to prepare against that. They can't really take this team and ban drafts. It's gonna have to come down to strategies, and I'm sure we'll see some strategies employed today.
I'm so interested to cast Easter Pro's game because especially I wanted to see what kind of heroes they're gonna pull off today. So we've seen Cat playing RNG 3 times, goes into jungle, and among the 3 times, 2 out of 3 they won that matches, and Cat has 100% winning rate on Levi, on the jungler. So just imagine what kind of hero, what kind of positions this player goes in the mid lane will be playing today. So as their opponent, Nova definitely, they have huge reliance on Redeem. Redeem actually had got #1 gold per minute during the entire league. I mean, over 746 per 5 gold per minute. That's a very unbelievable number, especially when you're comparing those data to the other rest of the team. And what is really interesting is that, you know, the second rated member on that board is Huahai. So
yeah, so
yeah,
these
huge reliance
players
on the
very,
players.
very close. And while we're talking about them, you know, Huahai is someone who just extremely excels in the jungle, but we cannot ignore Nova's strong points. Redeem, actually, if he plays marksman, his stats outclass Huahai. That is the only place where he's just able to have better almost everything across the board. So there's things to look out for Nova. I mean, you cannot ignore the fact that Yulia out here too, comfortable on where side lane for his respective region. He was the #1 KRKP top laner, right? So Nova coming from the international region, like this is the team. This is the international region team to beat. Like this is the strongest representation of KRKPL, and they're going to be facing one heck of an opponent.
They are going to be facing a lot of problems, a lot of difficulties because their opponent is eStar Pro. So let's just directly dive into the first ban draft between the 2 teams, while Nova is on the blue side and eStar Pro takes the red side.
I also wanted to point out for the ULA fans, this man has a 100% win rate on Kai and Old Master in the group stages. So like this guy, he is a dominant. When I say he is the top side laner, he is the top side laner to look out for.
Yeah, he is a MVP in the 2019 KRKPL and he's #1 side laner in KRKPL. So representing highest power, that's the one topic, only one topic that we're gonna do it for the entire game. And I love the target ban here.
Say that's a very
powerful
first pick.
Both coaches are very familiar with each other's strategy. They spend a lot of time digging deeply into their strategy and their hero pulls, and this is what they want to take off the table first. Guan Yu and Gong Sun Li making targets toward Redeem directly, and this Guan Yu just cuts the leg off eStar Pro. The Noyan needs this Guan Yu to create the threat towards the backliner for the side of Nova. So clear targets, I like that. I love this kind of ban beat, because normally we were seeing like Dunshan away or Pangu, Jiangxia away, but this is
not
unusual.
For this. There's going to be a lot of really strong tier 1 heroes that slip through just because of these 2 bans, right? The targeted side lane
they want to play that Chao.
means that Nova, not only, obviously, right, they are literally the Da Chao card, but they also are setting themselves up to be able to stall the game later, right? To not have to deal with things that disrupt their strategy.
They either want to play those kind of Da Chao system or those kind of, for example, Cai Wenji, who wants the whole 5 players to stick together in one formation, in one fixed position. That is the reason why they take those heroes who will create this kind of threats to their composition away in the first stage. And while Gong Sun Li and Jiang Xia is banned in the first 2 positions from the eStar Pro, and Nova undoubtedly, pick Da Chao as a first pick. But as a first pick Da Chao, you are given eStar Pro a lot of chances to take your good combos away. For example, Levi, for example, Old Master, all kinds of hero they can pick as a first run.
I think, unfortunately for Nova, because they did such targeted bans, they were just forced to take it, right? We know that eStar would just snag it away. eStar has no problem playing anything. So if they left that on the table, they knew it was going to be removed. eStar going with a much safer, much more standard first picks, right? Take the Yukio, take the Bajie. Extremely flexible, extremely powerful heroes that they can play anywhere.
I was wondering if Nova can choose the other kind of ban picks because, if you're letting use this position on the ban draft in the first stage to ban away, for example, Yukio or Baje at the same time, you might have the opportunity to pick Dachao for the third in your third position. So that will be working. So there's no need on putting those characters on a ban position in using the first match, because this is really important. Each team, both teams want to take this victory back, especially when it comes down to the first pick. But
Nova out here, they seem to be absolutely reluctant to face any sort of crowd control, right? They want to make sure CC changed off the table. They took really high CC controls out of the game, and then they're bringing in people that are going to be able to deal with them with their ult.
Okay, this Zhangzhou here is trying to purify any kind of control chains from the side of ESA Pro, so ensure that they can get used to elevator to go back home and get back to the battlefield in 1 second. But this Hua Mulan might be a substitute for Old Master. Maybe Mulan and Dachao will show us a combo here. And Lady Swan will be the third pick from the side of ESA Pro.
We have seen Old Master sort of fallen out of favor with this system, so not surprised to see the Mulan come out. Lady Suan obviously being a classic pick in the KCC. Taking it off right away. They don't have the Gong Sung Lee. They decide to go this over the Marco Polo. I think it kind of synergizes with the fact that they have got a lot of heroes that can frontline. The Baji is going to be on the front line. The Yukio is going to be able to stun and push people back on the front line.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty hard to get to this Lady Soon already, and they still got 2 more picks.
You know, the reason why Mulan is not favored in this kind of meta is because Mulan has no regeneration when doing matchup, especially when I want to match up with Lady Sun. Lady Sun have such a good and strong poking abilities. When you have the first item, it's a nightmare. So there might be a problems. Nova really needs to take care of this Mulan on the top lane, or this Mulan will be facing a lot of troubles.
Protect the Mulan will be the name of the game for Nova. They do have the elevator system, so they're going to have a lot of mobility moving around the map when that Eye of the World pull comes out, and he's sending people back to base as well. There is options, right? Nova already has options to protect this Mulan. It's going to be a matter of execution.
Yukio, Baji, and Lady Sun, and the ESA Pro is still lacking for another side laner. Oh, Cat is doing a lot of talking. I'm really curious about what kind of hero he's going to pull out today. Okay, go on, Tai.
Okay, so they do have some lockdown now. They're not going to be worried about Zhangzhou. You know, Nova, they need some more either heroes that can do damage from far away or some frontliners. Yeah, they need some poke. They need a way to stall, because right now, like, this Dachao system is pretty vulnerable.
Exactly, and they do not have any frontliner, you know, to take those frontliner damage. I mean, creating by Yukio and Lady Sun at the same time. Oh, will that be a fixed pick from the side of Nova? I mean, they're clearly lacking a lot of damage in the late game.
Yeah, they are.
But the choice of Hoi making sure that they can go constantly getting regenerated back on the crystal, but it's quite a risky choice, I will honestly say, because this is the first match. You have a lot of marksmen to choose. You have Marco Polo, you have Lady Sun off the table, Gongsun off the table, but you have Bari Shouyue. A lot of marksmen to choose with a dash. That's the most important thing. One thing about Hoi is there's not enough dashes, so not enough mobility, and maybe that's the reason they're choosing it to be combo Dachao, providing those mobility that Hoi does not have inherently.
Now here's the thing, if we just look at these two team comps side by side, I mean, it looks like eStar Pro really won this ban draft hard. Like, they have a very standard common ban draft that we know is going to be strong, that we've seen similarities between things like this throughout the entire KCC. But that's the thing about Nova, is they like to innovate. They like to be innovative, and they like to find ways to cover up things they're not good at. They like to play combos that help push them past their limits. So if that sort of, you know, new meta options they've got going on over there is what they feel is going to help them most, I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see if it pans out.
But I like the fact that Zan is choosing Yuan Ge to go into the million, meaning that he can open up more vision to offer to the entire team, because Dachao on the support extremely vulnerable. He can, especially when he's facing Dong Huang Cai. So the puppet by Yuan Ge will really help Dachao opening up vision for the entire game, for the entire team. But when this draft is finished, let's see. ESA Pro, they definitely have those early game aggression, and they can make rotation really quick, because with the first wave cleaned, Shangguanwang and Donghuang Cai will start to make rotations, you know, like I said earlier, creating those pressure to either lanes. Hua Mulan, Mulan and Hou will be very easy targets. Each ways will be easy to gank from the side of Easter Pro. They just have to choose the proper one, the correct one.
And with that, I think we're going to head over and hear some trash talk between the two teams. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
算是 KPL 打架最凶的队伍，然后我们 Nova 是 KPL 打架最凶的队伍，我们可以碰撞一下。
Nova 之前是拿了我们的剧本嘛，导演是谁还要搞清楚。王导，
我们只要下路给足了压力的话，他们绝对会派人过来。他们派人过来，我们中上就会很舒服。
我们已经有所准备，至少在 Easter 手里拿下2分。
KR 还没有能力打到4、5、6、7局吧。我觉得他们的英雄池能撑到第4局。
我们已经想好怎么越塔杀 K 了，可能我还会单杀他。
到时候打他们的时候稳扎稳打一点就好，稳扎稳打，稳稳拿下就行了。
就因为我是马来西亚人，我家人跟朋友都会在台下看比赛，所以我会尽全力打好。
我希望 Nova 拿出最巅峰的状态跟我们打，但如果拿不出来的话也没有关系。
Oh, wow. You know, I kind of like the fact that Nova in there talking about how they had the home field advantage. My family's Malaysian. They're going to be cheering me on in the crowd. That's got to give you some hype.
Yeah, home field advantage, one advantage we cannot neglect. I mean, you must be feeling a lot of confidence from the side of Nova because they're down in Malaysia. This is their hometown.
Oh, we can already hear the crowds getting ready. I love it. They're so excited to see these two teams battle it out for the 3rd placement in the semifinals. One team will unfortunately have to go home after today's series.
But the other team will go to the next round.
And with that, let's head on over to the Valley of Kings for Game 1 between Nova Esports and E-Star Pro.
Getting the game started, we're trying to see the distribution of how the side laners are gonna do. As see Noyan and Alan together, this here Q and Baja want to invade in the red and then taking vision here.
Ooh, watch RG, he's got vision on 3. Looking for an opportunity here. Zen doesn't want to let this buff go. We see Redeem with the rotation. Qian coming in.
Safely protected.
And they were able to snag that away. Alan put desperately low as well.
It's so interesting. They are RG. They like Zhangzhou to go into the jungle to carry the smite and protect the zone, protect their camps. And you know, one thing from this competition, it means that Redeem will take a lot of gold, a lot of waves. Look at where Redeem is.
Yep.
The mid lane is literally giving up the mid wave for Redeem, and Redeem right now is diving into the jungle, take a jungle as well. So Redeem will definitely be one core within this whole composition.
Like I said, Redeem really outclasses a lot of heroes when he gets put on the marksman, and so I'm excited that Nova decided to put him on that in the game 1. They're giving it a shot, they're giving it a chance to go for this early aggression, and it's working for them. They were able to save that red buff. They've got only 25 seconds until this first tyrant comes.
I like the fact that they're putting Hou in the mid lane, which means that with the help of Da Xiaobu, Hou will be kept with more mobility to gank to the side, either top or the bottom. And one fact is, you letting Yuan Ge to matching up with Bajie will be much better than you were doing matchup using Hou against Bajie.
Yes.
Because Yuan Ge have a longer shooting range, Yuan Ge have a longer poking ability, so there might be a lot of threat and pressure endured by Alan, because when you're facing Hou, there's no damage, literally no damage.
Real-time win percentage favors E-Star Pro. We have the first Tyrant already spawned in the mid lane. RG is already taken extremely low. It's coming out, and first blood goes to Wuming.
Wow, nicely done. And the first Tyrant goes to... and Ladies and got the first tier 1 turret in the top lane. That's a quick speeding up space because Mulan, of course. That's the reason why we're calling this hero is not a priority choice in the latest meta. That's the reason.
She's having a hard time fighting the 1v2 top, and the rotations by E-Star are just too fast. Cat on this Swangon is able to go top and get back down to mid before Nova can even respond.
You know, Nova is trying to take the first Tyrant by standing by that position, but there's not enough damage simply by Hou provided to Nova to finish off this first Tyrant, and they're giving up the vision and the cost will be the tier 1 turret in the top and a delay in taking down this first Tyrant in the Tyrant Hall.
And losing a tier 1 tower so early is definitely painful. You can already see it reflected in the scoreboard. Close to 1,000 gold lead, 700-800 gold lead already to eStar Pro. They haven't even taken a Tyrant. Looking to get on Redeem. He's got nowhere to run. The finishing stroke coming out. He tries to make it back, but he can't. Cat will get a kill. Allen will get a follow-up. And eStar is looking for more as RG will be put down as well. It's going to be a 3-piece over to eStar Pro.
0-3 in favor of eStar Pro. eStar Pro has started this game with 4 kills than their opponent does, and now they're trying to shred the HP down the tier 1 turret in the mid. And look how fast Lady Sun is taking down the HP of this tower. This is why you're not letting Lady Sun out on the table tonight in this current meta, because Lady Sun is one of, excepting for Bali Shouyue, one marksman I can possibly think of who can take down this HP down so quickly.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Shouyue may be able to take it down level 1, but as soon as Lady Sun gets farmed, it's 2 rolling raids for a tower. 2 rolling raids, that's unheard of as tower damage.
The ultimate
Cat's got double stun, the Iron Whirlpool comes out, Cat's locked down, Zen finds the kill. Hwahai gets a counter on Yulie, but it's going to be a double kill to Zen as Wuming gets put down 2.
Great cooperation, 1 double kill over to Zen. Getting this double kill means that he can get extra credit, and this all comes down to the initiation by the ultimate, by Redeem. Quite accurate placement of this ultimate, and once again trying to take still a little bit HP away from this tier 1 turret in the bottom.
Redeem putting so much pressure onto that bottom lane. It's crazy that with that ultimate, he was able to set up the fight for mid without even being there, without his presence being there. And like you said, trying to take down the tier 1 bottom side tower, he wasn't able to push on Allen, who's just so good at this Bajier. But they are starting to apply some pressure, and this is where you can see Nova's initiation, counter-initiation game is really strong. I'm surprised that neither team has been able to set up for this Tyrant yet, but it looks like they want it. Not able to find enough damage.
Another ultimate reached Allen, but there's not enough frontline damage. eStar Pro is making rotation to the bottom lane, trying to get more pressure to Redeem. Like Redeem said earlier, they're gonna target me, so it's time to free our bottom and the mid during the trash talk part. And by the time, let's see how Yulie is farming up right now, even though losing the tier 1 turret in the top, but he ends up with 3,500 gold right now. It's quite good.
Wuming's caught in mid, forced out by Nova's abilities. I like that Nova's being extra cautious with all their rotations, and they're not even with the people that could face check, they're using abilities to check every single bush.
eStar Pro right now.
No, but even with the face check, they're taking a lot of damage here. The Forsaken Contract comes out on Shi, and there's nowhere for him to go. Wuming will get the kill. Nova trying to get the follow-up, coming back on the Cap, but the finishing stroke comes out. It's enough to put down RG. And Yulie cannot escape his fate as Bajier walks into the tower and takes his life. It will be a trade.
There will be a trade, 2-for-1, still in favor of eStar Pro. Managing to take this team fight for a very long time, but it is now eStar Pro taking the vision in the river, and Nguyen so wealthy, so healthy in the HP bar, and just suddenly making this Tyrant vanish.
That damage by the Yukio is insane. Like you said, absolutely depleted, deleted, and ultimately defeated that Tyrant in a matter of seconds.
And right now, Nova is facing a lot of pressure because they're losing the tier 1 turret in 3 lanes, and which means that eStar Pro can get into the jungle as easily as possible. And right now, eStar Pro is trying to manipulate, trying to take pace, trying to start their very fast pace invasion as they usually did. Looking for more in the mid.
Here we go. Nova has already lost this mid lane tower. They can't really push out at this point. I do like that Nova is choosing to take these fights, fill out their opponent. We've already seen that Nova can win these fights if they set them up correctly, but it's all going to be a matter of that
Exactly.
execution.
I like the fact that eStar Pro have very clear targets. They know they're not aiming for Redeem. They're not aiming for Yulie. They're just simply aiming for Xian to finish off, to kill this Da Qiao, and second, making sure that there's no elevator system going on. And that's where they're going to start their initiation, start their engagements into team fights.
And I think where Nova's really going to start struggling is where this Yukio comes in. Cat with the finishing strokes, getting a lot of damage on RG, pushing it back for that tower. tower, but the stun comes out. What a good ult, the Forsaken contract, saving him and getting the counterplay on RG. But in the bottom side, Yulei doesn't want to let it go for free. They're able to put Allen down low. Cannot find the damage to get a kill, though.
Eastern Pro has already started this one for formation, letting Nguyen alone, getting the wave managed in the top, bottom lane, and while taking the vision here, trying to steal some vision. And if Redeem is not careful enough, there might be some engagements here.
Nova was not able to secure that blue buff.
Sensitive.
Yeah, and they do catch him in the bush. Luckily for him, he's got double dashes. He's able to get on out of there.
3 members helping Redeem, making sure. But went to Dachao. That's a dramatic thing that both players are not expecting this to happen.
Red buff goes to Dachao. There's nothing that Nova can do at this point. They're just gonna have to bite the bullet on that one and clear these waves. Put yourself back in the game, because when this Yukio starts landing that stun cutter, the snowfall comes out, it's gonna be extremely hard for you to fight him. And there it is, the stun cutter snowfall combo. 25% damage onto Yulie. Nothing for Nguyen.
This is like a very typical and standard ESA Pro play. You know, the rest 4 teams, the rest 4 members play whatever you like, and letting Nguyen hide in vision the bottom or in the top, trying to find a time opportunity to steal one solo kill. This is what they normally do. And right now, again, another engagement in the red, but fortunately with Dachao's help, Nova can safely protect their camp.
Yeastar's got the jungle timers on lock. They know exactly when everything's going to be spawned, and they're taking it when they can. This is the right call. Take Overlord now. Get the pressure from those Overlord Vanguards and use Vanguards to push on these tier 2 towers, so that way you can just keep feeding on Nova's jungle.
ESA Pro has already started snowballing. Look at the dashboard here. They're 5,000 gold ahead of Nova. And what Nova really needs to do right now is making sure to take it another ultimate riches Cat.
Oh no, Cat is taking low. Zen's able to get some chip, but there's no follow-up. Nova cannot pressure out at this point, especially when those Vanguards are going to be crashing soon.
You know, even though Redeem has such a good accuracy with his ultimate reaching to the backliner, but it's so good for ESA Pro always have that bodyguard standing next to Cat. Even though Cat is targeted, but it's always like protected by Nguyen or protected by Allen or even Booming, with a Forsaken contract that we've seen earlier.
Redeem's damage is finally coming online, but it might be too little too late as Wahai gets the rolling raid onto Zen. He will go down, and Cat with the follow-up onto RG. Nguyen got the stun cutter onto Redeem. Redeem putting a lot of damage onto Allen. What a good front line by that Bajier. He's not able to get damage on the targets that he needs to turn this fight around.
What a good frontliner. It's like a walking wall, you know. He's
exactly. A walking wall for sure.
And look at the HP regenerate back.
Cat's looking for the finishing stroke. He finds it onto Redeem. It's extremely low. Redeem dies, and Wahai will get the tower. That's all it takes. E-Star Pro takes the first game.
Typical play of ESA Pro, managed to take this first victory at going back to their series, and it's 1-0 in favor of ESA Pro right now. Finishing off the first game real quick, you know.
Yes. What a pick by Cat at the very end there. Able to get the finishing stroke onto the backline, onto Redeem, because if Redeem was still alive, he had a massive amount of wave clear that he was going to be able to employ. Cat made sure that was shut down, and without Redeem alive, there's nothing for them to save those turrets.
So Hoi definitely not a very highly preferred choice in current meta, because clearly you're facing Shang Guanwan all the time. Shang Guanwan, including the threat of Dong Huangtai, the Forsaken contracts, and the frontliner Bajier. Let's see how many distractions this Bajier is causing this Hoi to do. Like, you have to remain at a very safe position where you cannot do damage. So there's no follow-up damage from the side of Nova. Redeem really needs, you know, to find places to do the damage, but it's not working in the last match.
I think the key for E-Star Pro is just going to be shutting down Redeem and fighting a 5v4 the whole time. Nova had to have known this. They've got to have some stuff prepared to even up the board, to set some other sites for their members, and so that way they can stay in these games. We saw in a lot of the initiations that Nova wasn't getting dominated. They were able to come back, take picks off E-Star Pro, but they just lost too much gold in the early game, losing too much picks in the early game. They didn't have the damage they needed to turn those fights into actual victories.
You know, the reason why I think they're letting go their jungle so easily over to Issa Pro is because they're choosing Zhangzhou to go as a jungler. And jungle is not strong enough to protect those resources in their jungle. Look how vulnerable they have during the first team fights. Well, you know, with Wu Ming's Donghuang Cai, with Bajie, with Yukio, they're definitely going to invade. But with the invade, even though Issa Pro didn't take that red, but they end up taking a lot of like the first blood away from side of Nova, and Nova's trying their best to keep farming up. But RG once again got defeated by Noyan just like this.
Now this is something that we often see from the international region teams, and it's that they have trouble managing the waves in the early game to be able to rotation, and you can see that desperately happening here. E-Star Pro's rotations, they're always fighting at a number advantage. And obviously Cat on the Shuangguan, that's going to give you such a big boost when you're clearing waves to be able to rotate. But even on top of that, Nova needs to get those waves cleared. Maybe even take some heroes that have extremely fast wave clear to help them with this problem.
But let's see what kind of heroes that Nova picked in this side. I mean, these 5 heroes are clearly not meta picks. None of them are meta picks. I mean, they have a lot of available heroes, like those meta picks heroes and those flex heroes in the later game they can use on. And that's it, just focus on to this game, the dashboard from E-Star Pro, 414 for Cat and 205 for Huahai's Lady Sun.
You know, even though Nguyen only is 101, his split pushing that game was really good, and also Paramount applying pressure for E-Star Pro really opened up his team and allowed Cat to just be a monster and rotate around the map uncontested.
Exactly. Even though Nguyen has only like contributed to 7.1% of damage, but he's like another kind living form of the Vanguards in the early game, managing a way from the top to the bottom and making sure that every single fight Nova takes, they will be lacking for a wave or another. So the tier 2 turret got
the MVP will go to E-Star Pro Cat. I think that was a given. His kill at the very end is what secured that victory for E-Star Pro. 4-1-4, 35% damage done, only 16% damage taken. That's what it looks like to be a pro-level mid lane.
Yeah, this is how aggressively he plays with this kind of assassins. And a lot of heroes are still available for Cat to play. For example, Diao-Chan, he'll like to play the best during the group stage. And I love Mai Shanui, one of his favorite, even though Mai Shanui is not that kind of meta picks like seasons ago, but he still have a lot of, I don't know, have a lot of trust and beliefs in this kind of
And that's the thing about Cat, he can play anything. This man, you put him on a hero and you best bet that you're not going to be able to take advantage of him being weak on that hero. He's going to be strong.
Yeah, we were just discussing about this like 2 days ago. I mean, one difference of Cat is he's not afraid to take gambles. He's not afraid to be dead, be killed within the team fight, because he knows there's always going to be 4 members standing behind him doing the damage to their enemy. So he's going to find whatever he can do to initiate a fight with his players and other teammates behind him. So well communicated.
I believe that's just one thing that makes E-Star Pro so powerful as a team. Not having to rely on any one person. I think before a lot of these meta changes, we saw that E-Star Pro had a lot of reliance on Cat, but as things started to shift and other members started to step up, that's no longer the case. It's really hard to pick out who is the MVP from E-Star Pro oftentimes because everyone is just playing so well. Like, anytime you're like, oh, that guy's doing amazing, you miss out on what the guy who's not even on the screen is doing for his team with the invades, with the tower pushes. E-Star Pro, like you said, not having to rely on any one person to carry, that is such a strength when it comes into ban draft, when it comes into, you know, the team fights and not being afraid to die.
So with not a very clear reliance onto any players, it is literally freeing Cat to do because he's a shot caller for the entire team. He needs to make those decisive decisions during the game. So this is the reason why E-Star Pro have the #1 Tyrant and the Overlord control rate. You know, the Overlord control rate is extremely high, over 70% of the Overlord control, which means that the shot caller Cat must have done a lot of vision, a lot of times he's making those decisions that suits the scenario most perfectly. And with the execution by Noyan, that scene we were talking about this earlier, Noyan is always responsible for the side lane, both lanes vision, and Alan is the one who engaged in the team fights, trying to pull back from, for example, the budget to pull the backliner of their enemies back to the team fight. So everybody have a very clear duties to do.
And then, you know, I kind of want to talk about Alan. We kind of just skipped over him. But that Bajier, oh my goodness. In the front line, especially in the last team fight, taken down to 10% health, regenning on the creeps on his way back, he was able to push out all of Nova Esports, completely push them out, and set up plays for his team. Like I said, anytime you were looking at any member of eStar Pro, you were just seeing such amazing gameplay on their respective heroes.
And Nova from the last game, I think they're not getting a very Team 1 or meta compositions for this team. So you are seeing that the Giant turret in the top got destroyed so early, just only like before 3 minutes got exploded by Lady Sun. And this means that, I mean, Nova has extremely high winning rate when they get the first blood over 80%. So it's all comes down to the early game play, you know. So in this game, I'm looking forward to see Nova putting up those more early aggressive composition where they really like and preferred. I like to see their performances in the early game and trying to get snowballing started when they're facing the enemy like eStar Pro. Getting eStar Pro pressure is the thing that Nova needs to do in the next round.
Especially at the early game, which is what they're not known for. Show up and show us a new Nova. Dominate the early game. Take those tier 1 picks. I would love to see what Nova can do on a much stronger, like you said, a much stronger team comp of what we've been seeing so far played in the group stages and now the elimination rounds of the KCC. I think there's still so much room. It's only game 1. There's so much room for Nova to show us what they've got.
But eStar Pro have already used this budget, will no longer give Nova the chance to play this walking wall, okay?
Yeah, the walking wall.
Like Alan just played and just demonstrated to us. And one thing, like eStar Pro can still, you know, take that Yukio away because they have used it before. And one thing about Yukio for Nova is that they do not play Yukio into jungle, but they play Yukio on the side lane. So which means that there will be more mobility offered to this Yukio, managing a wave or whatever individual, red or the blue, targeting at a way one specific hero to their enemy. So Pangu is banned away as Dunshan again take out the table from the side of eStar Pro.
Now we're seeing much more meta bans, much more classic ban trap.
This is a normal scenario.
Yeah, this seems more. Nova had a very specific strategy going in to try to win game 1. It did not pan out for them, but that's okay. You fall back. You go with what you're comfortable with. You go with what you know that you can perform on, and I bet that's what we're going to see in this game too. Like we were talking about the first time that we casted in the elimination rounds, losing game 1 is pretty brutal because it gives the enemy team a momentum shift. They've obviously got some hype built up off of it, but losing game 2, that's where things really get hard. So you know Nova has got to fight hard to take the second game back.
Momentum and confidence indeed. And let's see, the first pick from the side of eStar Pro will be the Sulia, and give into Wumin to play as a support, such a good initiator. And the camera goes to Wumin because our director knows the Sulia will be played by Wumin. And once the Sulia is fixed, and let's see whether Nova can choose some counter or just trying to take some very meta heroes ahead before their enemy does.
Yeah, there's not going to be too much you can do to counter when you just get such a flex first pick like Sulia. That's definitely the right call by eStar Pro. But Nova could go the same way. There's a lot that they have available. The Yukio's still on the table. They've got a lot of options here. I like the Tai. I wonder if they'll go for the RNG right away or if they'll lean towards some other marksmen. I mean, Gongsung Lee is still on the table too.
Yeah, I know. Gongsung Lee is freed in this match and choosing to use the Yukio. The reason why they're choosing the Yukio instead of the marksman is because they want to know whether eStar Pro wants to play as a marksman. And they're leaving the choice to eStar Pro because once you have Gongsung Lee, I can pick Marco Bolo, I can pick whatever RNG or is all available. Because they know that eStar Pro can no longer pick Yukio. They're trying to you know, having this space fixed by a hero so that they can just, you know, do the counters according to an enemy's composition. And right now, eStar Pro is trying to fix one side laner, Kai, for Noyan.
I like the Kai take too.
Pull out.
Peichingu has been really effective for teams in the quarterfinals, doing so much damage to not only towers but people as well. And I like the Kai pick just because you're taking it away from Nova as well. Like take everything away that you can, especially that you know that people like Yule like to play, right? Get rid of the old Master, get rid of Kai. Don't let them play anything they're comfortable on, because Nova's hero pools are not going to be as deep as E-Star Pro. That's just the KPL versus KR KPL difference.
Yes. I mean, the Suli and Peichingu together from the side of E-Star Pro is literally screaming aggression to all of us. They're definitely going to invade into the jungle, and this is time for Nova to try to pick some heroes who can protect their camp. Or otherwise, you can choose to do the vertical jungling as well. This is also a choice. And right now for the third pick, Nova is going for the RNG because maybe E-Star Pro is giving up for the marksman because they are choosing Peichingu with assassin and goes to the jungle. But there's always, another possibility. E-Star Pro might have picking up one more marksman. There's nothing for sure. It can be played. A 2 marksman composition. It's good.
That's
on
the
the
scary thing
meta.
about E-Star Pro playing a bunch of different roles, right? They could last pick that marksman. I think that it's unlikely, but it could always
It could happen. It could happen.
It could always
yeah.
happen, and I would not be surprised to see it happen. I love seeing the Tai RNG combo, giving that guy the mobility to do his damage is going to be paramount to Nova.
And right now, let's dive into the second round of the bans here. Shimongshi is not available anymore since Nova clearly they want to play marksman. They are not given a cat. This kind of character who can do that much AoE bursting damage in the late game, causing RNG a lot of positioning troubles. And 1R.
Xuanguan gets banned away from the side of Nova. That hero is just devastating. Finishing stroke does way too much damage. And more importantly, I was hoping that Nova might be able to get their hands on that just because of the wave clear advantage, the rotation advantage that Xuanguan is going to give. That's something that Nova desperately needs. They need to have the priority of lanes wherever they can take them.
If I were asked to raise an example of those character who can do those rotations so effectively, Xuanguan Wan will definitely be one of them, because there's no way that you can prevent taking the damage from her. One exception is you choose Masashi,
Yes.
Masashi or Zhanglantai or Zhangliang, but it's not working for most of the cases. And this damage from Xuanguan, the ultimate, is just unavoidable during the team fight. Sometimes you just have to deal with it. There's no way. And that's why Xuanguan is often banned in the second round.
Oh, Lubu, finally. First time we're going to see the Lubu come out. We'll have the Fallen God combos.
These are the meta heroes that we want to see. Like for first game, I mean, Nova's clearly given up a lot of heroes in the first game, but right now they have the opportunity to pick Ryukyu, to pick Lubu on the same time.
Now that first game, the interesting thing is it actually could be panning out in Nova's favor because E-Star Pro chose to go with so many of their meta picks, use a lot of the T1 picks in the first round where Nova did not. Nova already knew that they're coming into this with not as deep hero pools. Losing the third game, losing the fourth game, that's brutal, but losing the first game and forcing a lot of your opponent to take a lot of meta picks, that might open them up if they're trying to take this all the way to Game 7.
And right now, the last pick from the mid to catch play will be Wang Zhaojun creating those AoE. Like, another substitute for Shimongshi, because clearly Diaoshan is no longer there for Cat to play. Cat especially like to play when they have Peichingu on their side, but Nova knows it. So that's the reason why Nova is taking this Diaoshan off the table to counter Cat. And once E-Star Pro's composition is fixed at C, initiation from Sulia, one frontliner, very tanky character, Xiangyu, is played by Alan. And one last pick, the mid lane choices for Nova. Maybe they're trying to find something with a poking ability such as Ganjian Moyen.
Very popular international region choice. And very effective for them as well. This was a hero where I was sort of unsure because it takes so much precision on your abilities and rotations. But IR has been able to pull it off time and time again in the group stages.
But if I think like Assassin mages will be much more better from Nova, because Assassin can be played against Cat against Wang Zhaojun, because Wang Zhaojun is kind of like a wizard and do not have a lot of mobility except for that flicker. And if you play like, for example, Mai Shanui, you can easily get targets on Wang Zhaojun and make rotation to the top, trying to create some pressure to Kai. Or otherwise, if you're choosing the Skanjiang, you're basically in a quite passive and defensive state. You're literally waiting for your enemy to do damage on you. And with a flicker and the first ability of Skanjiang, even though you have like 2 dashes, you'll still be in a quite a passive state. And this game, Nova really needs to stall the time into the late game, because the 3 cores, Lü Bu, Direnjie, Ganjiang, and Moye, always need to be farmed up to the late game to do the damage.
I agree with you. I wish that Nova would take a more active stance on their hands, on their lane priority, on their abilities. But we just know from time to time again, Nova likes the mid game, they like the late game, they like to stall it out and go for those power spike heroes. So I'm definitely not surprised to see the Ganjiang being pulled out by them. They feel that they can stall this second game out. This time, at the very least, we've seen a very solid comp by Nova. Not a bunch of weird picks like we saw in the first match. This is something that we're much used to seeing, and we see it because we know it's effective, right? It's played over and over again, these kind of compositions, because we already know they're effective.
The reason why I think Nova really needs a Assassin Mage is because I think they need a member to buy the time for Redeem to farm up with the help of Tai Zhenren. Even though Tai Zhenren can offer extra golds to Direnjie, they still need over like 10 minutes to do the farming up, to do the research, to buy the items that Direnjie really needs. And this is a time where Nova really needs somebody to stand up to buy the time for him to keep the items up. And right now, the both teams are fixed from Isa Pro, Kai, Pei Qinghu, Wang Zhaojun, Su Lie, and Xiang Yu. From the side of Nova, Lü Bu, Direnjie, Ganjiang, Moye, Zhiyojing, and Tai Zhenren.
I do feel it's going to be hard for Nova to buy that time when E-Star took such an aggressive comp, and we know they're going to go for these early initiations. We're just going to have to see how it plays out in Game 2.
Redeem heading to the mid, gaining this first wave so quickly. So much reliance on Redeem.
He's able to put that pressure. Oh, and Nova making them leash that blue. Huahai, good play there. They're going to pull it back now. Check this back line. He's getting vision, seeing if there's something to be made here. Watch Allen, watch Allen. He's coming in on RG. They're able to get the Frigid Prison. There's nowhere that RG can run when he's stunned. And he's forced into the back line as Yulie is pushed back by Wuming. There's a lot of damage coming out by E-Star. First blood goes to Nguyen.
Oh, they want to make it more. He's a pro trying to make somebody slow down, but fortunately, Nova can make this escape away. But they're losing first blood over to this blue. It's not a very fair trade, I would say.
Yeah, no good for the side of Nova. That's going to be a long time before he comes back. On the very least, he was able to get his buffs. Frigid Prison comes out again. RG caught a second time, and E-Star just flexing out there in the jungle.
I like Isa Pro is playing this early game because they know they have the passive from Su Lie. Su Lie have a double life, and they have Pei Qinghu. They're supposed to be that aggressive. Nova is looking for to do those vertical jungling thing with Isa Pro, but Isa Pro on the other hand is choosing to stay at their jungle waiting for their enemy to get in and find time opportunity to fight back, and they succeeded on doing that. And right now 1 second down for the first Tyrant to spawn. Isa Pro taking the position, definitely want to grab this first Tyrant.
Talking about E-Star not relying on any one hero, that last first blood, you've got to give it up for Wuming. Going in there and getting that pushback on Yulie was so impressive. He got a max distance pushback, knockback into the team, and is able to put him down. Tyrant will finally be leashed by Huahai. Nova goes for the invade. Oh, I like them going for a trade here, putting on some pressure. They have to snag it though, and they were able to grab it. At least they're able to get something for losing that Tyrant.
Nova wants to take this blue control for all the time. Once they invade in, and this is the second time, they're definitely wanting to control this blue for the entire game. And let's see whether they can do that. And on the bottom lane, Yue Li and Nguyen, Kai and Lü Bu are doing matchup. There's just simply trading for HP. Each character have a lot deal of regeneration.
Yeah. Shields, regens, health, all they can do is tap each other on the cheek a few little times down there.
And right now, Nova The blue is spawned back into their own jungle.
E-Star finally wants this. They gotta stop giving up the blue. Nova's able to snag it.
With a smite by Huahai. And right now, since Nova is all retreating back, they can take another jungle from the side of Nova. This is how Esports Pro earned gold within the game. They're literally using every second and every movement to take that movement worthy. They're taking away those things, not even left alone except for those neutral objectives, for example, the Dark Tyrant or the Overlord, including the River Lizard. Everything is so important in the map.
Nova here on the mid lane. They've got the bush checked. Zen circling here. He definitely doesn't want to get dived on by that right side. Finally realizes no one's there. Is able to clear that wave out. Both teams being much more passive. This is probably what Nova wants at this point, though.
Yes. And DNG 2,400 gold till now with the help of Tai Yijun being the wealthy man on the map. Nicely done. He still needs to buy time to trade lanes and stake waves with his share his wave with his rest of his player and his teammates. He needs that kind of amount of money and gold to buy the items. For example, Doomsday as the next one. Mid lane, help cleaning the wave together.
Here on that top side, the Paching who shows himself. Huahai helping clear wave, looking for rotation by his team. Wuming coming in, looking for the unconquerable army, but he gets stunned out. Can't find the knockback. The wave crashes in, but it's just going to be a lot of damage to the side of E-Star as they are pushed back.
And they successfully forced out the flicker from Redeem, which means that Redeem will no longer have a dash.
Ooh, but RG gets caught in the bush. The counter initiation, we've got the stun cutter. It doesn't quite hit its mark, and Wuming is running out of there with his passive.
Oh, bottom lane though! Solo kill by Nguyen!
Wow, Yule trying to save his own life with the Fallen God, but he couldn't quite take it to the skies.
Oh,
he died.
But the top lane though, DNG managed to kill and finish off the kill by with Allen. The Xiangyu is down in the top, and this is where the red side Nova gets its first tier 1 turret in the top lane. One trading for one. A lot of things happen on the side lane.
Nova is doing a great job at trading this game, staying in the game. They're not that far behind E-Star Pro.
Yeah.
We've already reached the 5.5 minute mark. And E-Star's only up one Tyrant, so this is looking really good for Nova Esports.
Yeah, this they're keeping the pace quite closely with Esports Pro. Esports Pro is trying to find some initiation with Huahai doing all the farm, all the jungles on the map, but Esports Pro does not successfully, trying to make their difference larger, and Nova is continuously chasing back on the gold deficit, and right now it's quite manageable and acceptable for Nova.
Here's the trade that was going on the bottom side.
What happened down there?
Oh, well played by Nguyen. He gets the regens, able to pop the stun, and then go for that dive under tower. Meanwhile, on the top side, Allen's taking extremely low. Tai gets the hook. He's pulling him back. Woo!
This is a replay that what happened just on the top lane, getting the kill for the Xiangyu. I mean, Xiangyu is using his ultimate into the flicker, trying to get closer to DNG, but with the help, the 2 control ability hits Xiangyu. There's no way Xiangyu can go. Other engagement happened down the bottom lane, trying to make something happen.
4-man rotation by E-Star Pro. We have the follow-up by Nova. They've got 5. They're in the bush. E-Star doesn't know. The Fallen God comes out. They're able to snag Cat. Cat is low, and he gets swiped by Yulia as Allen's trying to pressure them out. Xian is extremely low and set back. He does not have that ult. Nguyen on the back line. This man's positioning is impeccable. The flicker across the wall will get him to Zen. He will put down Xian. Huahai grabs that kill, and Nguyen with the regen will just walk out of there.
Such a nice rotation down by Esports Pro. Another 1-0 trade in favor of Esports Pro, and managed to take the tier 1 turret in the mid. Very low.
Yulia is stunned. Wow. Good job, Huahai. Switching between modes is just too powerful.
I mean, Esports Pro has finally opens up this match. Eventually from nearly 8 minutes, finds a breakthrough in the mid, taking down the tier 1 turret in the mid lane, and another. Huahai is trying to, make wave management in the bottom.
E-Star Pro, they had a little bit of a difficulty in the beginning. They were able to farm up ahead of Nova, but like you said, not quite open up the map until that last fight. That's where they were able to shine, catch Nova right by their own tower, get those picks, and finally put this game in swing mode. start to go for the snowball.
Glacial Buckler for Nguyen. Let's see how Whelmed Farm Nguyen has 5,000 gold with the books of Resistance, a Nightmare, and a Glacial Buckler. Offer him almost nearly, 40% the full cooldown reduction. Nguyen will be releasing a lot of abilities even during 1-5. Really depends.
Bottom side tower goes down to E-Star Pro. That is more gold for them. Meanwhile, Nova over here sneaking the Overlord. Tai catches the Soleil. Nguyen comes in. He's going to pressure them out. They had it so low, but now they're getting pushed on. The Fallen God comes out. We have the knockback by Wuming. Yulie will go down. He comes back from the Force Science, but he's not going to be able to escape there with his life as E-Star Pro pressures into the jungle.
Nice idea by Nova trying to steal this Overlord, but there's not enough frontline damage to snag this Overlord quickly. And this is the reason why they're giving the Pro time to do damage. Oh, very low.
Oh no, Wuming is low as well. The bait, he's pushing out. He knows he has the passive, but his team cannot save him. They just leave him to die.
The entire E-Star Pro is like, okay, bro, you did your best, and that we go.
A little bit of a miscommunication there by E-Star. Wuming going in solo.
I mean, Cat, the Frigid Prison from Rao the second upgrade could have reached the redeem, but Wuming just forced it back.
Nguyen caught by 2. He's not going to be able to escape easily with Xion on his tail. Good dash.
Good choice, because when you are getting the ultimate from RNG, you're like reduced 50% off your tankiness, and you'll be very vulnerable.
Basically, mends his ult unusable.
Yes. Balanced out.
Over here on the top side, we got to clear jungle. Nova's trying to clear everything they can and manage these waves so they can take another fight. Meanwhile, you start going for the Overlord.
Just making some movements here.
Baiting. They want Nova to step out so they can take these fights. They are ahead in gold. They know this is the time for them to start pushing on these towers. And if they're not going to step out, then the Overlord is the option.
You know, each play, the game style of E-Star Pro is quite different. For this specific composition, they're choosing to play very safely. They're choosing to play cautiously, but letting Nova have this opportunity to take the Dark Tyrant while they are aiming for this Overlord. Change of the neutral objective it is.
E-Star being a little bit too safe, and they weren't able to snag that Overlord to right now. But Nguyen on that top side with those waves means they're going to get another tower too. So they will have these Overlord Vanguards rolling in, and they have all the T1 towers down.
4 members in the division.
Looking for a play to be set up. We got to wait for the Vanguards to roll in before E-Star can step out again now that they don't have priority on any of these bushes.
And this is a time where Nguyen starts to do his work.
Yes.
rotation, back and forward to manage a wave on the bottom and the top as well. This is Nguyen, what Nguyen's responsibility is during the game. And Zan is using this ultimate to find out the vision in the bush because their support clearly have much more important thing to do. Checking both vision on the 2 sides in the mid.
Will wear off in a little bit, so Nova's not going to be able to take advantage of having the damage buff. They're not really going to be able to pressure out just because of those Vanguards, but they aren't going to be pressured on either, right? They're not going to have to take the damage from E-Star Pro until E-Star can get rid of that damage buff.
8,400 gold, a Doomsday, Endless Edge, a Twilight Bolt making to the Daybreaker.
Wuming's extremely low in the mid lane. He gets found by Redeem and Zen. That follow-up chip damage is a lot.
The damage of Redeem is officially online at the stage. He's waiting for another Daybreaker, and once he has his damage, the damage is insane. But they still need to, find time to initiate the fight. Letting Redeem does his damage all the time. But now, Nova is quite defensive each time because they're facing a lot of pressure on each lanes. The Overlord is right there creating your pressure. And left side the Overlord, this Nguyen, always on the top and on the bottom to creating those distractions to the side of Nova.
Ooh, Shin in the jungle. He's able to find Wuming. Alan has to be a little bit careful with his positioning here before they can grab the pick. We can see Cat rolling in, looking to do some damage. The Vanguard is on that tower, but it's just not tanky enough. 2 arms coming out and doing a massive amount of damage to Alan. They will fall back to the blue buff.
The first ability into a flicker of Titan didn't make it to the target.
Oh, Wuming almost getting caught again.
Wuming wants to go back, rehealed, and find another chance for Isapro to start the team fights again.
Less than a minute and a half until both objectives will be back online. I like that Nova's getting rid of anything they can on their jungle. Nova's doing a great job at not falling too far behind in gold, even though the fact that they're pushed. They've been around 4,000 or 5,000 gold deficit this entire time. eStar Pro hasn't been able to find anything else to open up to keep snowballing.
So basically what eStar Pro gets from that Overlord is trying to eliminate all the outer 1, 2, and 2.
God coming down onto Cat, but it'll find Wuming, and they will have to get out of there and wait for that ult to come back as Nguyen is pushing in over on the top side.
The damage is just not enough to finish the kill for the Cat, and Cat once again has the blue gain the shield by his passive, can have like half HP back, even though with the cost of the flicker.
Nova was hoping that they could shut Cat down right then and then take the 5v4. This Cat's just too slippery.
Over 10,000 gold for Huahai. Huahai is nearly as a fully stacked scenario, something. And ultimately it's a pull off for Cat trying to finish off this lane.
The damage trading for these two teams is really good. Going back and forth, just getting a little chip, enough to pressure each other out, but not enough to be able to take the commitment. It's like whoever makes the first mistake is really going to be hurting in this next fight.
So what eStar Pro is doing right now is letting Nguyen to control the wave while they are taking vision for this both Dark Tyrant and the Overlord at the same time.
They do not want to give up either one this time, and they feel they have the gold and the power to pressure Nova. We already have Huahai starting it. It's extremely low. It's less than half. Xian sees it. He wants to come in. Ooh, Allen get the pushback. They're not going to be able to contest this. It's going to be Dark Tyrant to eStar Pro.
There's no way that Nova is possibly find a way to snag this Overlord. They can just watch eStar Pro taking it. And right now they're making rotation to the Overlord, trying to steal some vision here, since eStar Pro have like a debuff effect if they want to have this Overlord. So eStar Pro might have given up on this Overlord, trying to make something happen.
Oh no, Wuming's caught by 4. The 2 arms comes out and lands.
Look at Cat, look at
Cat on the top side. It's going to be a killing spree for RNG.M as Cat goes down. Nova applying some pressure.
Good play by Nova, hiding vision in the bush. They know eStar Pro is going to take that vision over there. And a very nice opportunity for RNG.M to find that chance to do damage onto Cat. And this over 0-1 trade is over to Nova, finding this chance, finding this kill over Cat.
Yeah, that was good. Nova needed that to keep them in the game. eStar was finally getting the snowball rolling, coming in to about 7,000 gold. And with that shutdown, they're able to keep this going. Keep your marksman online, because as long as RNG.M is out there doing damage, Nova's going to be able to fight.
You know, even though Nova is like 6,000 gold behind, but they still have the chance to fall back, because one thing is they do not lose their high ground towers.
Exactly.
Their high ground tower is really healthy at this time, which means that basically the waves are the kind of same, because there's no super soldiers on your enemy side, and that's why Nova can get closely into the mid, into the river, and right now doing the damage on the turret in the mid.
RNG.M looking to try to take that, almost snags it.
Yeah, this almost snags it.
Like you were talking about, this is why Nova's pressuring so hard for this Overlord. They know if they lose the Overlord, it's most likely going to be a high ground tower. And right now, as long as the high ground towers aren't down, Nova's able to keep stalling this game out until time doesn't matter.
Nova is trying to take the vision here, because this Overlord is really important. Once they let eStar Pro have this Overlord, they might face the difficulty. They might face the pressure of losing their high ground tower.
On RG. Nguyen just going in and getting some chip damage in the face of 4.
They're aiming for the same thing. Nova want to have this Overlord, and the same as eStar Pro. They know Overlord is the one thing that can opens up this game eventually for the side of eStar Pro.
Damage buff is gone by both teams.
Back and
it's
forth.
It's going to be even. Nguyen's getting on the back line, going for the wave split. Look at the pressure this guy is allowing eStar to move so freely.
Once again, 4 versus 4. Yukio back into the game.
Oh, the double stun with the Fallen God. Cat gets caught again, and Curiosity will get him killed.
Oh, curiosity will get cat killed. Nice quote. And with this kill by Nova, Nova managed to take this Overlord. This might be the time for Nova to turn this tide around.
Meanwhile, on the top side, Nguyen, he's trying to see if he can get that snag, but he just didn't have the time. I 100% agree. This is the time for Nova to turn things around. They are down a bit of gold, but they're going to have the pressure from the Vanguards. They're going to be able to push out of their jungle. And even up, but they get lined up by Nguyen, who hits a double and is going to push Redeem back. He's looking for an opportunity to do damage. Meanwhile, on the top side, RG falls.
This fall down is not resulting good for Nova because they're losing one member to manage the wave on the top lane, which means that with Shen's ultimate popped out just now.
Oh, Wu-Ming catching Zen, pushing him out of the tower range.
That's so dangerous for Zen. You know, one step closer to Easter Pro, Zen might be fall down because he does not have Shen being by his sides.
Here's the thing about E-Star Pro is they never play to the status quo. When they are down the Overlord is when they get more aggressive. It's when they push out even deeper and they catch teams off guard because Nova's expecting them to be pushed back by these Vanguards to be able to go in, and they just cannot.
The Overlord, the Vanguards in the mid, but get cleared by Wang Zhaojing's ultimate.
Then those people are looking mighty tanky. He's not able to really do the damage he was early game. He's got to make sure he gets those skill shots onto Cat or Huahai.
Oh, yeah.
We start looking for another damage buff here on the Tyrant, the Dark Tyrant. They've got it less than half. The Frigid Prison coming out to push people back. Meanwhile, on the back line, Nguyen is able to get 3. The Fallen God comes up to try to counter them, but it's too late. Huahai gets the kills. The towers are going down. The people are going down. It's a double kill to Huahai.
Another nice rotation by Nguyen. Always find the right place to dive in. Look at how accurate he got into the backliners and using the second ability to push back those players from Nova. And at that time, Zen and Yueli is no longer able to move during the team fight, and that's the reason why Nova lost in
RG for the
team
steal.
fight just now.
He takes it!
He
RG with the Dark Tyrant steal. Unfortunately, E-Star Pro will turn it around and steal his life. It's a double kill. He's looking for the triple. Oh! Cat with the cleanup.
With the cleanup finish of a kill by Shen, only one Zen is alive on a battlefield, and Yueli is resurrected from the crystal. But there's a wave in the mid.
Looking good for Nova Esports as E-Star's got waves managed on mid and bottom. It's at least a tier 2. Possibly a tier 3 and possibly base if they cannot get online.
High ground tower.
Ooh, good positioning by Yueli, able to knock down that minion and even get back with the Fallen God, but he won't get back with his life. While on the top side, Nguyen grabbing a killing spree over to Zen. It's an ace!
Inside of base, possibly, and there's a wave in the bottom trying to get it near the crystal.
A 5v2 when Nguyen rotates in.
RG is down.
RG's dead. There's no one to protect the crystal. E-Star Pro takes another one.
2-0 in favor of Easter Pro, even though they are kind of facing a problem to start snowballing and make things happen on the stage, but they always manage to take the final victory back. Easter Pro 2-0 against Nova.
E-Star Pro arguably taking much longer that game, but they still held the pace. They still held the rhythm of the game. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing Nova not be dominated. They're finding the ability to take picks off of E-Star Pro to get kills, to make pressures, but they can't seem to turn those into objectives, into gold. Every time Nova gets the picks, they don't get any gold back for it, and then they just fall deeper and deeper into despair.
You know, one thing I learned from this game is that Easter Pro's rhythm and pace is completely controlled by Cat. You can see how different with the whole rhythm, the whole pace of the game, when Cat is playing Shang Wanwang and when Cat is playing Wang Zhaojing, completely different. Because they are, if Cat is playing those wizard mages, we can see that they are always waiting for their enemy to invade, trying to fight back, because there's no way they can take this fight so aggressively and so actively in early game. So basically what Easter Pro tend to do in this game is that They're not trying to force things happen. They're waiting for the enemy to make mistakes during this mid-game plays. Look at how Yueli got in and unable to initiate the fight, unable to do the knockout, and then give Eaststar Pro the time to finish the kill for Li Bu.
Eaststar Pro taking longer because they wait for those counter initiations, trying to get Nova to dive on them to go on Cat, and then get Nguyen on the back line like here. Beautiful play. That is how they won these games.
And the other three, Nguyen is all managed to escape from getting into the diving into the team fight and went away successfully. And this is the time the so many Destiny activated during this team fight.
That was a beautiful pick by RG, but he had to know he was going to give his life. I wish he would have called his team for backup. Right? His team rotated to try to help him to see if they could turn around because they had the damage buff. Unfortunately, that got them killed.
MVP definitely goes to Nguyen, 304, almost fully stacked. I mean, the reason why the last phase is empty is because he's trying to change the Destiny over to Sage Sentry, whatever. Yep. They're trying to change the last item, so this is the reason why it is empty and without any boots here. And this is a game we're seeing that the reason why there's no reliance on Eaststar Pro on either of the members is because even though Cat is kind of fading away, standing on the behind, doing the damage, doing over 35% of the damage, and he's netting Nguyen to do the aggression, to do the threat. And this is Nguyen came from on the stage doing all kinds of stuff.
And we gotta talk about Huahai, who had over 87% kill participation.
Sustainable damage.
903.
Sustainable
he
damage.
obviously was playing that hero textbook.
MVP goes to Eaststar Pro, Nguyen. KDA, 304.
Average damage, 18.4.
Damage taken, 18.8%. Like very even contribution of both teams, and I like the idea that we can be witnessing different game style by Eaststar Pro. I mean, if they're playing the assassin in the mid, they're playing aggressively according to Cat's shot caller or etc. But if they're playing Wizard, they're like a completely different teams.
Exactly.
They can play
the
safe.
Pacing always follows
play with the
Cat's
management.
shot calling, and that proves to be so good for the team because they're winning all the games, right? He obviously is making the right calls at the right times. For whatever hero he's playing, his team is very centered around him. I like that Nguyen last game really got recognized for being the playmaker because literally he was making all the plays. That 3-man stun from the back on that back line was amazing. It's hard enough to stun one hero with Kai's abilities. To hit 3 is just utterly insane.
Insane, exactly. And for Nova, I think they performed quite well in the early and mid game because they're trying to maintain the high ground tower. They're protecting the high ground tower so safely. We're seeing like almost over for 5 minutes. Eaststar Pro is trying to get something done in the jungle, in the river, but they couldn't successfully done it because Nova is playing very cautiously during that time phase. And unfortunately, they're losing it because of team fights where Nguyen finds a chance to dive in and aiming at 3 members from Nova, and that's where Nova starts to falling apart, and the whole combination gets falling apart. And this is where Nova needs to improve in the next game. That's important.
Yeah, because that game, like you said, Nova had pace control pretty much evened out at the very least. They were able to drag that game on a lot longer, and they're still finding the picks in the team fights they need to be successful, right? They're still getting kills. They're finding good trades. Even when Nova's losing Tyrant, they're in blue buff, taking anything they can off the map. We've got to see that converted. It's got to be converted into goal. You've got to get towers. You've got to get kills at the right times. You've got to get Tyrants, neutral objectives, anything you can off the map, because what ends up happening is Eaststar Pro just slowly but surely builds the gap, and when the gap becomes too far away for Nova to be able to fight them, even though they have the ability to.
Yeah, so we're seeing strategy pulling out from Nova. They're trying to control the blue from the very beginning of the game. And, you know, surprisingly, Eaststar Pro didn't choose to go for the red or for the blue or for any kind of invasion. They're literally waiting in the jungle for you to make your invade and trying to find chances to find back. This is a very nice play by Eaststar Pro.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to figure out what kind of movements their enemy is going to do, and they're performing it on the stage. And this moves really requires experience, I would say.
For me, it was really interesting to see E-Star play a lot like Nova, waiting for all the counter initiations, because I'm so used to seeing, you know, Cat go with the really high divey mages, but this time played very much utility, and then they went for the counter engages. I like that a lot. I like seeing that side of them because they played it so well.
And you know, E-Star Pro definitely have over 3 years of the experience on the stage.
Yeah.
So we have been seeing E-Star Pro for entire 6 seasons of KPL, so they definitely have a lot of experience when it comes to the performance on stage, when it comes to the mentality. And right now we can see the faces from E-Star Pro. Even though they're like 2 points ahead of their enemy, they're not relaxing at all. They're not feeling themselves at all. They're just very serious and very focused on their games. And that's mature. That's a very mature performance by Nguyen. Oh, this MVP just now.
And just like you said, you can see it. They're already set up and prepared for Game 3. They want to take this to match point as fast as they can. I like seeing E-Star Pro come out and just be so dominating, but at the same time professional. They obviously have the experience of a lot of seasons.
Yeah. But today, you know, they are not giving us that much of the surprises we've seen from the group stage, because this is the elimination.
They cannot afford anything out here today. Any team that loses this series will be sent home. The winners will make it onto the semifinals. There is a lot riding on today's sit matches. We'll head over into the band draft phase. We'll see what the 2 teams are going to pick. I'm sure the Penghu Bajie bands will come out, as always.
You know, Penghu is not banned earlier, like 2 games, but nobody has picked it. No sides have picked it. They're choosing to ban Bajie and Zhang Ziya last game.
A lot of times they don't want to see like the Da Chao come out, and they don't want to see the Zhang Ziya come out. It's interesting because we haven't seen them be that effective. But that just shows how powerful they must have been in scrims when they're using these abilities. They know that they can't fight against them when they do work. You got to get rid of those things that really annoying. You don't want to lose to something just because it's too powerful. You don't even want to have the risk of them being able to take it and pull it off.
You know, normally we'll say that Penghu will be a counterpick towards all kinds of marksmen, but if you really take a deeper thought, unable to do the auto attacks can be extremely harmful for a lot of assassins as well, especially for those Nakaruru or Baidi Xuanze. Baidi really needs those auto attacks to do the damage, and when he's facing Penghu, it will be extremely hard. So that's the reason why Penghu is always being banned. Not only he has a threat towards a marksman, but also the assassins as well. So you know, it's a 3rd game till now. I'm looking forward to see Penghu on stage, or otherwise on the bands.
In one or the other.
Yeah, take this away. Can play so flexibly.
Nova removing both Da Chao and the Guan Yu again. They must
what
really
do you
not
want
to deal with this hero.
What do you want to pick? Like strong targets to this character, Guan Yu.
You know what it is they know they can't lose the lane priority, right? Guan Yu is just going to be have too much open on the map. E-Star Pro has already proven that their wave management and priority and rotations are just second to none, right? They're just so good. That Nguyen is always everywhere he needs to be to do work for the team. If you give this guy someone with the rotation ability like Guan Yu, it's going to be scary.
He is literally everywhere using other kinds of heroes. Just imagine if you gave him a character who can run on the map. Okay, so Dunshan is out after 4 bans. Guan Yu, Da Chao, Bajie, and Zhang Ziya being off the table for both teams to choose, and Nova for the first pick getting this Dunshan as a support or as a side laner.
I think it's a pretty good flex pick to take when the Zhang Ziya gets banned right away, because even if the Xuanze comes out, you know, you'll have plenty of time to react to it.
Yeah, and E-Star Pro cannot pick Wang Zhaojun again. Maybe for this game, they quite prefer Shen Mengxi if they're doing like traditional counter pick.
And I would love to see Cat on the Cat.
Oh, Penghu, what we want to see in this match.
There it is. Gotta watch out for that bleed effect. Even with the nerfs, this hero has been really strong in the group stages. Very dominating presence it played right. And there it is, the Xuanze.
Counter pick. And maybe Nova will pick Marco Polo, because Marco Polo is one of the marksmen I can think of who is not afraid of being ganked by Pangu. Maybe Marco Polo for Redeem to play. You know, Marco Polo with a Purify, he can easily get a hook off by Bali Shence, and have like inherently 2 dashes will make Marco Polo safer during the team fights.
Plus, that Fever Barrage damage is pretty high. He will be able to delete people like Pongo and Schwenza if they're stacked on his S1.
So there's a trick for in playing Marco Polo. You have the Purify and the Pure Sky at the same time, making sure the ultimate got unleashed. Every bullet, every damage got on the stage. But Nova is switching their thought. They want to pick this Gong Sun Li. Okay, very confident. I could only say very confident picks from Redeem.
Gong Sun Li is absolutely devastating. Those 4 dashes are just too brutal to deal with. And we've seen play after play after play. Like every time this hero comes out, she's making some crazy MVP-worthy plays on the stage.
Third pick is a pro, giving Wuming Lianpo as an initiator and as a very strong tank standing in the front line.
Right, just slam. And plus, he will have the immunity against things like, you know, the boat. I'm
always surprised, you know, Wuming, this player is really introverted player. And there's sometimes I wanted to talk to him during the interview, and he's being very shy, a very shy player. But he plays so aggressively when it comes to the games, into the stage. He's like a completely different person. This is really amazing, you know.
Playing those initiators where he can get right in the front line and help his team do work. It seems that's where all the outgoingness went into the heroes.
No, I think there's a hidden personality for me. Okay, the second round, I like the bans from Xiao Qiao, a target ban, a counter ban pick towards Gong Sun Li.
Make sure that you don't have to deal with anything that's annoying, and we have the Miyue band as well. Ooh, Cao Cao.
But if Isa Pro is aiming for those solo laners, Sun Ce can do the same. Old Master is available. Chen Yaojing is available. There's a lot of character that Nova can pick.
Other than Sun Ce and Xuanzhou, I'm just not seeing a lot of CC opportunities. I mean, the Duanshan does have knockbacks and things that will be annoying, but there we go. Get a lot more utility out here. Get the Fallen God out here with that extra damage. That's gonna be good for Eastern Pro.
I am it is looking good on Eastern Pro's composition because they have a lot of things. They have early game damage, they have control chains, they have tanks, they have late game damage. They basically have everything you need to win a game. And as Nova, they're still trying to figure out what kind of, another side learner to pick. So with the Kai goes out, so basically Dunshan goes into the support and Shang Guanwar goes into the mid.
I like this. Yulei is extremely effective on that Kai, and we're going to have the mid that I wanted Nova to pick because it'll
winning percentage,
open out 100%. Yeah, he's won every single game. It's out of four all the group stages, so really good. But yeah, and also now having wave, they'll have lane. Most likely have the wave priority on that Shuang Guan.
Oh, I like this combo chains coming from Eastern Pro. The ultimate of Wu Zhetian together with Lu Bu's ultimate. This is a very nice combo we seen from earlier KPL games plays, and very typical combo chains coming from Eastern.
Yeah, I spoke too soon about the CC for Eastern Pro. They literally went boom, boom, and
boom,
locked it all
boom,
down.
boom, boom, like 3 combo chains here.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's gonna allow a lot of utility, especially when you have to deal with Shuanzhou pulling people back and then just combo after combo after combo. Eastar's set up to take really favorable team fights.
They are given Hua Hai extremely high room and spaces to do the damage, because once you got hooked onto either of the members from Nova and pull back once, it is finished. The kill could be finished because they have the control chains provided by Wu Zetian and Lu Bu at the same time. This is why, like Gong Sun Li and Zen, Shangguanwar are all paired with the Purify. They really need this Purify.
They cannot
to get
afford, to be hooked by Huahai. That's going to be too devastating, even with the mobility that they have, right? Those are two heroes that have arguably some of the most mobility for their classes, and they still need to take the Purify.
You know, I mean, the 5 members, all of them really needs a Purify. You know, if they could use a Purify, they could. They would.
They could use double.
But because Dunshan and Kai both need a flicker really much to change the position to dive into the backliner, so that's the reason why they're choosing this flicker over to Purify. And here we go, we're looking at the KR Tower in Kuala Lumpur. Very nice place. We've been there. Yeah, taking photos. I like there. And I like Malaysia. Nice weather and nice food here.
Food is second to none, and the portions are amazing.
Filling the
Over
crowd.
on the blue side, we have Nova Esports, Yule on Kai, Redeem on Gong Sung Lee, Zen on Chuang Gon, Wan and RG on Sun Se, Xian on Duanshan.
Over to East Pro, we have Noyang, Pangu, Huahai, Bali Shense, Cat on Wu Zetian, Allen on Luwu, and the support Wu Ming on Lianpo.
And with that, let's head on over to the Valley of Kings for Game 3 of Nova Esports versus E-Star Pro.
Third game between the two teams. And initial, how about the early game play by both teams, what they want to do. Pink skin, I like the skin.
Oh, already a quick knock-up on the Xian, but he counters back and forth, chip and tag.
Yeah, this character really look alike, you know, the Dunshan and Lianpo with the skin.
They are very similar. All E-Star with the invade. RG is pushed out of the jungle.
That is what we are looking at. Huahai with the help of Lu Bu getting invade into blue. This is out of Nova's expectations. They do not expect to do the vertical jungling against their enemy, and they're losing one blue.
Knock up with the stun follow-up. That's a lot of damage onto Xian. He doesn't have the mobility, and he's forced to burn the flicker.
Redeem again. You know, this is quite surprising because Nova is letting the marksman go to the mid all the time throughout the entire 2 plays, and this game included. They're letting the marksman goes into the mid for all the time to take in the first wave, and you know, making rotation to the side, jungles making sure that they can have the highest money and highest gold within their whole team.
Nova playing the mid lane marksman. Will it be able to work out for them in game 3? They know that their backs are against the wall when it comes down to the early game of E-Star Pro. They're going to have a hard time dealing with Huahai.
But they have reached what they want because Redeem is now level 3, getting all the resources from the team and making rotations down to the first Tyrant hole.
First timer will spawn in the next 5 seconds. We see the knockback onto Wu Ming. He's taken low, but the Nightmare Hooks comes back onto Xian. He's looking for the pull. Will he be able to find it? He doesn't even need it. First blood goes to Nguyen. And with that rage that Huahai's gonna get, this Tyrant is gonna go down like butter.
Yeah, so first Tyrant and the first blood together to E-Star Pro. Quite a good start, managing to take over 1,500 goal lead ahead of their opponent Nova, and once again having the timer on the clock.
Good pull by RG, is able to snag him that blue. I thought that they were going to get it with those hooks.
It will always be the best case scenario if you put your jungle into the bush, not letting your enemy to have the vision onto that jungle.
Look at that ult right there, putting Xian extremely low and allowing for the bleed.
Oh, another engagement here.
In the mid lane, top side. The ult by Zen comes at, and Cat goes down. Nova finding a foothold in this game.
Oh, nice opportunity catch by Nova, getting this kill in the mid lane and managed to get Wu Ming quite low. Wu Ming has to go back, but they are not distracting Huahai's rhythm. Huahai is still trying to get those farmed up in the jungle.
Got a lot of damage on RG. He can't escape. Nguyen gets another one, and he's looking for Redeem. The CC is too much. Redeem snags it.
Redeem has a lot of dashes, and this is how we should play Gongsun Li, like this, using the dashes to distract your enemy and let him guess where you're gonna appear in the next second. But it's working since Redeem had got the kill.
Is just so powerful. Being able to dash up to 4 times, it has a lot of outplay potential. It makes it such a fun hero to play as well.
Nice demonstration of a good example,
Yes,
textbook example of how to play
demonstration.
Gongsun Li. And by gaining that kill, 2,200 over to Gongsun Li. Gongsun Li is trying his best to trying to farm up. Another rotation made by Easter Pro to the top.
Here we go. They've got waves crashing. Allen's looking for an opportunity to engage here. We already see the Nightmare hooks loaded up by Huahai. The boat comes in onto Cat. Nova, knowing they can't take this yet.
I like this order.
Xian looking for, oh, he dashes into the wall. They get the counter initiation. The Fallen God comes down. Xian will die.
And the Easter Pro is getting more.
Then Allen finds the swipe.
0-2 trading favor Easter Pro managed to open this game up just now. Back into the top, clean this wave and making this wave deeper into the towers, trying to shred the HP down for a little bit. I love the positioning of Wumi. Wumi is waiting for the chance.
Tower's about to crash. The minion wave's finally on it. Wumi looking for an opportunity to get onto Yule. He couldn't find him, but E-Star Pro will finally snag this tower. They wanted this one really bad.
Really bad indeed. But
Nova, Nova on the bottom line. I love that Nova's always looking for something. Nguyen's trying to stop it, but even with that extra damage, he's not able to stop the wave, or is he? He will not.
He did. But it's unfortunately lost the tier 1 turret in the bottom. One tower trading for another. Quite fair trade for Nova because they have successfully got this tier 1 turret in the bottom, which is really important for Gongsun Li to make rotations.
Nova doing such a good job at staying in the game again. We got to see Nova turn this staying in the game into some aggression, into some invades, into some towers. Otherwise, it's going to be a repeat of last match.
3,000 gold lead so far for the side of Easter Pro.
God to push Redeem back. He started looking to grab another tower, but RG, he's trying to push them in. Trade. There's a lot of damage onto Allen. He's taking low. Meanwhile, Redeem's able to get the pick onto Cat.
Cat is too far and too far away from his teammate. There's literally nothing Allen and Wuming can do, and Allen's really low. Nova is finding some opportunity on the bottom.
Nova's so good at finding these counter initiations. Redeem's damage and Zen's damage are pretty good right now. They have the ability to take these fights. E-Star's got to be careful and make sure they're taking the correct ones for their team.
Yeah, Leo looking up for the opportunity in the bush, but didn't make it. Zen making rotation to the back, to the river. You know, mid-wave priority is the most important thing throughout the entire map. They want to make sure they get it because they can finish up the lane quicker than Wu Zetian did.
Redeem over here getting everything he can from the mid-waves, the jungles, trying to get this man farmed up so that way he can do even more damage in the team fights. We've only got 60 seconds into this first Overlord spawns. That is going to be the next point of attack. In this mid lane bush, trading some damage.
Trading some HP, trading some damage is it, and hating the vision. So Nova is, improving in each match, and we can see Nova is playing like 50-50 now on the stage because they can have the vision over the river, and this is where Easter Pro want to make some distraction happen.
Great distraction by E-Star's gonna snag them another tier 1 turret and start to snowball this lead.
Nova again trying to change the towers, but the vision got open from the ultimate from Cat. Oh, he can manage to go back to the tower.
Comes out. Well played.
This is how you can play during chat. Normally, when you're very low in your HP bar, you can always go back to the towers, regenerating the tower and yourself the HP at the same time.
That was an expert play there. I thought for sure he was going to get knocked back into the enemy team, but he had that Siege Breaker ready, and he activated it just in time. Zen's able to snag this blue buff. Nova's just continuing to stay in this game. It's only a 3,000 gold deficit. Each game that they play against E-Star, they keep that deficit even closer and closer.
This is why I think they're improving as the time flies right now, and they're not giving up on the priority in the mid lane. They're trying everything to take control and to take vision in the river so that Easter Pro will not be so overwhelming and ganked and find their wave into the jungle. They're trying their best to prevent things like that happen. And on the top lane, Yueli is managing those waves, not letting the waves getting too deeper. Nice choice. 50-50 right now for Isapro. Isapro really want to make things happen.
A mid-wave crashing here. They've got the 5-man rotate onto mid. It's going to be enough. They're going to be able to push Zed back and take the mid-wave tower, but the counter engage is coming in. The Kai on the back line, getting massive amounts of damage, and Nguyen's forced to walk off the sides. Zen is looking for an opportunity to ult, but he doesn't have it. We're getting a lot of damage here, and Huahai is able to get the pick. The Rage is active. Xian is down. Redeem with the killing spree will shut down Huahai's Rage.
It is 1-2 straight still in favor of Isapro, but Nova managed to take this fight quite well with the dive in of Yueli using the flicker, get into the backliner, but unfortunately get targeted by Wu Zetian's ultimate. Just giving you a pause when you're trying to do damage on the backliners. And this is where Isapro really start off on this game. They're going back to the bottom lane, managed to wait as they usually did. And Nova Redeem luckily got survived after that team fight and managed to keep those jungling and those farm up just now.
Exactly. Good picks by Redeem is going to keep him in the match, keep his damage online. Unfortunately, because Nova lost another fight, numerically, number speaking, they're going to be down another 1,000 gold.
Yes.
And now we finally have these Dark Tyrant spawned. We have the Overlord on deck. This is where eStar is going to start to try to snowball and end the game. They're going to go for these neutral objectives, and Nova, they've got to be aware of that. They do have the chip damage this time.
One
Here
good thing,
trying to pressure them out.
One good thing about Nova is that they always have Sun Ce as a second-hand control. Oh, want to throw Xian back.
Got too deep. He doesn't have the mobility to get escape. Redeem tried to help him. He's able to dash away, but wow, that was close.
That was close. He has used the Purify to save him from the trouble just now, but there's a cannon in the mid lane.
Here we go. Fallen God lands onto Zen. He's able to push them back. Zen is looking for an opportunity to get the finishing stroke out, but he can't. Yulie on the back line, able to split them. Good play by Yulie. Stops them from taking more.
You know, Nguyen knows exactly what Yueli wants to do. So that's the reason why this Pangu is always looking for Yueli, looking for this Kai to dive in. Kai actually find quite a good place. He wants to go from the back, making damage to Wu Zetian or to Huahai, but Nguyen is, you know, saving the energy. I am not engaging into team fights. I'm just saving energy, saving all my vision for you. And, you know, always find a way for Yueli, and really can do nothing during that team fights just now. So that is another play you have to be gained by experience.
Yeah, that is just the experience that Nguyen has in this game. Able to really section off whole areas of the map with the vision that he provides, and forcing Yulie to come in from weird positionings, not able to get things for his team.
And right now, 12 minutes in, 6,000 lead by Eastern
bottom
Pro.
side, Nguyen's going in, but he had to have known Redeem was there, and it's going to be a kill to Yuele.
Oh, the damage is online. You really have a endless edge, and Redeem is well farmed at the stage. With a red buff, there's no way this Pangu can go. And Pangu is off with a smite, so that's the reason why Nguyen has less mobility during the team fights. With now the flicker, Pangu only have like a little bit one dash using this first ability, so it might be hard for Nguyen to try to escape from the team fights.
He starts set up, but Nova doesn't have the vision on them. Xian walks into two. He takes a good amount of chip damage. They know where Cat's at now. He's on that back line. Yueli pushing him back, but the Nightmare Hooks comes out, and Woomin gets the pick on Xian. It's now a 5v4 situation. Good job, E-Star.
Huahai gets another kill, went into the crazy mode and have the damage onto this Overlord. And since Nova is one member down, there is no way they can fight over for this Overlord. And this Overlord just went to Isa Pro side.
Yeah, without all 5 members on the team, and when you're down in gold, there's no way you can test that. Things are looking grim for the side of Nova as we have waves crashing and E-Star Pro knocking on their door. They're going to have those Vanguards. The Fallen God comes out. We see a lot of damage on RNG. RNG will be defeated. Meanwhile, on the backline, red team, they're grabbing that turret. Looking for more here as the double kill comes out for Cat. They're pressuring into the base.
They're waiting for the mid lane to reach. There's a
Mid lane
whole
tower's
wave in the
crashing. Hawaii's
mid.
already got the Nightmare Hooks activated. That's another tier 3 tower. Super minions on both sides. Redeem's trying to get a lot of chip damage here. Hold your ground by Xian. Comes out. Wooming's taken extremely low. Wooming will be defeated by Zen.
Allen and Flicker into the first ability. Get the kill.
Redeem coming in on that side lane's able to snag Nguyen as well. It's going to be a double kill though, and there's still a minion. You cannot walk back to base. E-Star Pro is in their face.
It's a 3-0 in favor of E-Star Pro. Only one score away from their spot to the semifinals.
We are now looking at a match point situation for E-Star Pro. Every game that they've had today has been impeccable. They just get a little bit of a gold lead. It's not even perfect. They die, but they get a 1v2 trade, allowing them to get just a 300 gold lead, and that's all they need. They take that 300 gold lead, they turn it into a 600, they turn it into a 6,000, and then they end up winning the game. It's crazy.
You know, don't talk gold lead with E-Star Pro. Only hundreds of gold lead is enough for E-Star Pro to get the victory. And we're seeing the fans standing over there screaming, and shout out to their idols, players standing and on the stage. And right now we're witnessing another good and perfect game performed by E-Star Pro. And we can see some replays just now. You know, from this game, I was really surprising, you know, to see Nguyen getting. He just knows so well that wherever Kai wants to dive in, so it's literally waiting for Kai at that point, at that position. You can see from this two team fights, Zen got to Cat, and Zen has his dream come true. You know, Zen is saying that he wants to solo kill Cat, and did it just now.
Wahai, what impeccable hooks that he had. He was really able to make things hard for Xian. Right? That Duenshen didn't have any opportunity to make plays that game because Duenshen was always there, hooking him down and diving on him, not even throwing him back, having the damage to kill him without the throwback.
Yeah, this is a place where the rotation is made a little bit slow. Because the control abilities, the control chains is online, but there's not immediate follow-up damage to do the kill, to finish the kill. And this is one typical game play by Allen. He always wanted to use this ultimate, you know, to separate the battlefield, to let the backliner do the damage onto the tower while he is taking the tower damage, and the Werecat gets a double kill. And this is the last one, last team fight. The double kill game by Allen.
This is where they Nova redeemed. He did good. He got on the side lane. He was able to kill them, but he goes back here, and there's still minions crashing. They still had a small minion crashing. If he could have made it back in time, or at least through the umbrella there, he might have been able to stop that.
And from the dash, where we're seeing 308 from Allen, Spike, Mel, Analyst, Succubus, Clog, and a Shadow Ripper. Oh, can do a tank and do the damage at the same time.
Redeem over here, 402. You can see where E-Star Pro really put the pressure on Nova, was on Xian, was on the Duenshen. They were able to get on him and really put in work. Good job to Huahai. His positioning was great.
44, 24, 24, 25, 22. Very average, even.
Every member is putting in a massive amount of work. This is what we talk about. E-Star Pro not having to rely on anyone. They know that each one of their members, including the support, is going to be doing damage.
Yeah, but I like the fact that Allen have over 91% of the killing participation.
Meaning he is where the team needs him the most. MVP! E-Star Pro, Allen. KDA 308.
With a 308 average damage, 18.4%, and taken 22% of the damage from their enemy. Yeah, we can see a lot of initiation coming from this group. And over 90% of the damage participation, that's a thing.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Nova 的中单真，我是来自 Nova 战队的辅助师。
Nova 这边一个直觉直接戳破掉了水晶，让我们恭喜 Nova 冲进了吉隆坡，冲进了本届世冠的淘汰赛阶段。
心情就很开心嘛，因为能回到马来西亚打比赛，毕竟是自己的家乡，
就感觉到蛮兴奋的，因为好久没回家了，就希望能在马来西亚好好发挥。
去吃好吃的呗，放松一下呗。
好好陪家人啊，出去散散心啊。
鸡饭、炒粿条、椰浆饭，会的，因为我家人都很喜欢看我打比赛，所以到马来西亚的打比赛的时候，他们肯定会去现场。
接触这个游戏的时候，有找了一些队友去参加了这些比赛。
个人比较喜欢赢的感觉嘛，在马来西亚参加过一些小比赛，在那时候也拿了第1名，然后被选到来Nova了。
最深刻的点就是跟 KPL 战队打嘛，就能感觉到他们和我们之间的差距，也能找到自己的问题。
我以前有拍过影片，做 YouTube 就网络的，如果不打职业了，可能会去拍这些吧。
我想搞金融，我对这方面也有兴趣。
我最欣赏猫神吧，因为他是整队的指挥，然后打法也很独特。
Coco 吧，我感觉他在 RNG.M 打法特别凶，然后指挥上也有很大的作用。就当时调整心态嘛，就放平心态，然后就好好发挥，打好自己的就可以了。然后也说了，逆风就稳住心态打就好了。
我是有预想过会拿1小局的，因为我们 KPL 这边的战队也一直在努力着。
能和 KPL 打成这样的成绩，我感觉是挺不错的。
很感谢你们一直以来那么支持我，到现在你们都一直看我比赛，而且看我打比赛赢了的时候，你们也挺开心的，我爱你们。
就谢谢家人一路以来的支持以及奉献，然后也感谢你们当时默默的接受我打职业的这条路，谢谢。
谢谢你们的支持。
Buat masa ini kita perlu membuat pusingan Air Nova Kebab。我们回家了。
I have to give it up to E-Star Pro. Every single match that we've seen today, they have been absolutely dominant. And I'm going to attribute it to just the management of waves, right? They are always on top of it, winning their lanes and rotating fast. And we're seeing it maybe even more so just with Nguyen, just being everywhere at once.
Exactly. We're just actually Beg and I were just discussing about this fact. I mean, speaking of management, Nova can play with the E-Star Pro with the management, but when it comes to the team fights, Nova usually lose. And the reason why is that E-Star Pro can always make the correct and perfect rotations back into the team fights, and Nova usually, you know, having like a little bit collaboration or miss a little bit perfect timing to dive in. This all comes down to the wave priority. It is E-Star Pro, each like 3 bottom, mid, and top, always getting the priority of the wave. That's so important.
Because when we watch these teams go head-to-head, Nova's making the trades they need to stay in the game. And in fact, in every single game that we watch, Nova has the initial goal deficit lower and lower and lower. It's a much closer game.
Chasing back.
Of course. And the only thing they're lacking is when we take these team fights, it's 1-2. It's 1-3 over to the side of Nova, and then E-Star, all they need, like you talked about, they only need 100, 200 gold lead, and that's all they need to keep that going over and over and over until the game's done.
You know, the reason why E-Star Pro is letting Nova to chase back the gold deficit is because this is a phase that during like the early game to the mid, this is a phase where E-Star Pro is also doing the farming up. They let you have the chances and spaces to climb up a little bit, and when we have enough items, and that's the time where we start to engage into team fights, and that's the starting point of where the pace of E-Star Pro is running, and that is where Nova is missing out a little advantages.
Yeah, that's where you see the goal deficit really come into play, because the damage by E-Star Pro is just devastating to the side of Nova. When they have a 4v5 situation all game, it's really hard to take those fights. Like, you can see that Nova wants to. You can see that we know that in this situation, our heroes, we have the abilities, we have the combo chains. We should be winning these fights, but they just don't have the gold or numbers to make it happen.
You know, one thing that there's a lot of scenarios where Nova actually wins in the little skirmishes, but they cannot find a way to, you know, put the snowball and start it. There's no way they can go because E-Star Pro has finished all the waves, all the jungle, all the neutral objectives, and you know they're letting Nova have nothing to choose excepting for going back to the crystal or going back to their own jungles.
And now it's where things get tough, because we are on match point for E-Star Pro. One game away from making it to the semifinals.
Yeah,
and
so
then
excited.
Nova's going to be knocked out. So they've got to pull something together for this last match.
I think whatever you have the hidden secret strategy,
Now is the
it
time.
is the time to pull that off because you want to stop giving the fourth credit to your enemy, or that's it. It's
Yes.
finished.
We are down to the wire. Backs are against the wall. Now is the time to pull out the things that you have hidden. There could be no other time than now.
And I know, I must say that I think Eastern Pro is showing a lot of respect in today's matches because we are seeing a lot of endeavors in the group stage where they're trying to put Cat in different positions in the jungler and or in the marksman as well.
Yes.
But in today's matches, let's count how many, what kind of heroes that Cat played. First, the first match, Shangguan Wang, then Wang Zhaojun, and just now, Wu Zetian. So very safe cards played by Eastern Pro. They actually want to take safely and, step by step and get into the next 4-0.
Exactly. In the group stages, that's when they tried everything out. That's when they locked down new strategies. But now it's crunch time. Now is the time where you need to play exactly how you would play in the World Finals, because before you know it, you could be there, and you don't want to be making any sort of mistakes that you could potentially be making from doing things like that in the group stage. Like you said, it just comes down to respect. It's such a big respect factor for eStar Pro, just playing it their all, and we're seeing that dominating presence out there on the battlefield.
So we should say that it's because we are already off like half of the journey in the elimination stage. So after this is done, possibly if eStar Pro can win the series, they'll only got one more chance in Malaysia, and the next destination, the final destination, will be Shenzhen. Look at how calm Cat is right now.
They are doing this like it is the World Finals. You can see they're just like, okay, they're ready.
Seriously.
This is what we're going to draft. This is our match point. This is what they played. Right, in the group stages, we saw a lot of smiles, like a lot of excitement. But now it's crunch time. Now it is time for everybody to be serious and lock it down. This is it. You will go home if you lose these matches.
I think the 5 players and the coach is already have a lot of things, a lot of thought, a lot of strategies going on in their brains. And what I want to see is that Nova finally took their strategies out. You have to unleash your ultimate for this match because it's so important. We've seen so many cases where you are 3 points behind and you manage to take down 4. It happened in the earlier games.
Reverse sweep.
Yeah, reverse sweep. We just saw it, witnessed it happening on RW and RNG.M in the group stage, right?
And now as we head over to the band draft phase, is the Guan Yu going to come out again? Are they just absolutely denying everyone this era?
Guan Yu surprisingly be one of Nova's largest concern when it comes to BP.
Top bans by Nova each time. We also see the Dao Chow be a huge concern by eStar. That one's or by Nova as well, being taken out. I wonder if they'll decide to try to target, because it's really hard to target ban someone like eStar Pro. Sure, the flow of eStar revolves around Cat still, right? Like the pace that eStar takes. If Cat takes high damage dealer, a divey mage, they're going to be going in. If Cat takes the more laid back one, eStar Pro will take a little bit of time to farm up. But you can't just worry about one player of eStar Pro. You have to worry about every single player.
5 players indeed.
Yeah.
Total 5 players.
There's no cutting out anyone in the ban draft.
So
phase.
it's extremely hard to make target bans.
Exactly. It's almost impossible, to be honest. All you can do is get rid of things that are annoying to your comp. In some ways, that is better, playing towards your strategy, getting rid of things that you're worried about, right? Like we already see Dao Chow coming out again over here. If the Guan Yu comes out again, would not be surprised. Just get rid of stuff that you know that you guys can't deal with.
You don't want to deal with, yeah.
Exactly.
Clearly, no target bans, just the thing that you do not want to deal with your comp, because you do not want to use you have to really use this Diao system in the first game. There's no way you're letting this out, especially when it comes to your enemy's game point. That it will be really important. And the last ban from the side of Nova.
They're taking a lot of time to decide about this one.
6 minutes left.
Oh!
I know.
The Feng Long.
I just knew their ban is falling away because, count the time. It might be where Hua Hai wants to play this hero. Old Master back.
Old Master over to the side of eStar. They have first pick. Perfect flex pick for them to take. we often see him come out around this time of the matches because a lot of the tier 1 ones are gone, right? The Lubu's gone, the Yukio is gone.
Baji's gone.
banned.
Yeah.
All these really great picks are taken off the tower. This is when you see Old Master come out. This is when you see like the Munchie come out. Right. Well, on game 4 is when you see a lot of these other picks be played.
Yeah, Kai. The character Hero Kai is both used from both teams. Pangu and Zhang Fei at the same time. It's been a long time since the last time I saw Zhang Fei on the stage. You know, it happens all the time during the group stage, but I do not know the reason why Zhang Fei is no longer being a very popular choice when it gets to the elimination stage.
We've seen a lot less marksman also being played over here on the elimination stage. It seemed like a lot of teams were trying that out and really finding success with it, but then decided that that's not the route they wanted to go. If they couldn't get the Gong Sung Lee or the Marco Polo, the RNG, like they weren't going for one of what they felt was the best marksman. They just decided not to play them all together.
Speaking of marksman, this Gong Sung Lee here by again played by Hua Hai. Now Hua Hai earned his first pentakill with using this character. He has absolutely very proficient usage with this character, and you know, this it's such a legendary story because the first time that Hua Hai appeared as a first 5 player from ESA Pro, the first time he went on into the KPL stage, he won. He had a pentakill. That's a dream for every single players, you know, pro players.
Yeah, is to have that pentakill on record.
First time
and he's
ever.
the one to have it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Miracle.
Shoyue coming out on the side of Nova. They're going to have a lot of protection for him. That getaway already makes him super mobile, especially with his passive. And having the Zhang Fei Wild Blood follow-up, I like these combos.
And they obviously want to use this Shoyue to match up with Gong Sung Lee because one thing that Gong Sung Lee is really afraid of is doing matchup with Shoyue.
Getting sniped. Bang!
Yeah, just one snipe by Shoyue, bam, have to down HP.
And that's what makes you so scary because what ends up happening is if you're less than half HP, you have to go back to base. And so you spend a lot of time as a marksman going back to base, which is what you never want to do as a marksman.
And the healing pack behind the towers is becoming more important for Hua Hai to try and just stay his HP online. Only one snipe to suddenly shred down half HP. That's not making any sense. And that's why our game is making this accuracy of the snipe so hard. Even though you need the vision. So
yeah, vision too. A lot, and well, honestly, sometimes we've seen the feeling. We've seen the invis snipe come out once or twice in the group stages. Those are so satisfying. No vision, you just feel it. You know he's gonna be here. I can feel it. They hit it. It's amazing.
I can literally feeling that you love to casting one of the games with Baili Shoyue in it because it will be very dramatic to cast.
It is. It is.
Blind snap.
The blind snipe. You have to watch out for it at all times, especially because this hero, he just gives you so much vision for your team. That's a thing that the enemy team is going to be aware of, and a lot of times you can get blind snipes by forcing them to go into your circles, your eyes.
4 mid laner being banned away. Both the Wizard are taken off the table by ESA Pro, Wang Zhaojun and Shi Mengxi, and Lady Jin and Yi Xing at the same time. Knows your enemy so well.
Knows them so well. The Heaven's Origin getting
I
removed.
love this. Gao Jianli. It's been a while and a while and a while since the last time I saw Gao Jianli on the stage. This is a character that suits Cat's personality the most, because it takes bold, takes bravery to get into the backliners. It's like exploding. It's like a it's like a self-exploding bomb. You know, you need to get into and pull off your ultimate.
You're self-detonating. Yeah. You have to be brave to be able to pull off that hero. And if there's one thing that Cat is, well, I think we can safely say it's brave. Always on the front line as a mage. Last pick on the Duenshen, not having to deal with the Xuanza, I like that pick too. That's a hero that we see his win rates be extremely low, but he's so good. Like, the reason they're so low is he ends up getting picked first and then countered on the whole time. Getting last pick, that's got to feel really good.
And the whole composition is fixed from ESA Pro. There is not a tanky enough character in standing in the front line, but they do have Gao Zhenli, they do have Old Master. If they are in some kind of goal lead, they can play it very aggressively because Gao Zhenli can do a lot of damage. And while with the meta change, he's kind of buffed during the last meta changes. He can regenerate back using his second ability. This is one thing that is really important, because when you're getting closer to your enemy, you definitely need regenerations to help up your HP.
I just love that his ult is called Rock Out. Rock Out.
Rockers.
Yeah.
That's a rocker on stage.
Gong Sung Lee and the Old Master combo. There's so many lockdowns that E-Star is going to be able to have. The Sage's Glory is going to come out. We're going to see Gong Sung Lee do sustained damage. We're going to have Distant Horizon, that boat by the Sunsa follow-up. That's so good. E-Star's got, even like you said, they may not have the front line, but they've got a lot of chain potential to get picks, get single target picks on heroes as they're rotating, and then not have to worry about really having the front line.
You know, Nova's comm is all about safe. It's all about gentle. It's a quite gentle comm because you are using your poke. There's a poking cores behind. You're using 百里守约 and 小乔 as the 2 cores, and you're letting Yue Li be Miyue on the top, on the side lane, and your support has a jump for choices, which means that Nova is not looking for a lot of things going on the stage. They're not playing so actively in early game and mid game. They're just like waiting for the right chances to, you know, fight back and do whatever Isapro did earlier.
Let's get ready to rumble as we go into what could be the last match between E-Star Pro and Nova Esports. The snipe comes out. Nice.
Help cleaning the wave.
Shan over here to help clear it. Redeem's going to be able to snag that. We already see the invasion on that top side, pressuring on the Xiao Xiao.
Xiao Xiao is trying to protect this blue by using the fan, but it's not going to work.
Good job by E-Star Pro. Walks out with that blue buff, but we finally get some vertical jungling by Nova.
Stealing out this blue.
This is good. This is the first time that we had Nova with an even buff trade in this series.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we anticipated. This body show, it goes in the mid again. So Marksman goes in the mid is typical Nova play.
Yeah, mid lane Marksman is Nova's calling card, apparently, in this whole entire series.
This opening seems quite good from Nova. They got Vision in the river. They have Shred Allen very low, so that Allen has to go back. And they stole the blue.
The AI also thought this was pretty good for Nova. It's the closest win percentage that Nova's had in the entire series. Nova's slowly but surely learning their opponents, really learning how to deal with and play against E-Star. I think we can safely say that every time they play them, they get a little bit better. Good pick on Huahai. That's going to be 25% health.
Down. All of a sudden. Within 1 second.
Deleted. Depleted.
Gone. Okay, gaining the mid-wave priority is what Nova really needs right now, making rotation to the top and to the bottom, making damage onto Huahai, giving Huahai enough pressure. Nice positioning here.
He's looking for it.
Will it do it?
Oh, it
Allen
does
take
land
the
on
bullet.
Allen, but it will put him at 50% down on the top lane. They're doing good. The Mioe is having no trouble dealing with Old Master, and they're able to rotate freely this time.
Well,
this
Nova
is kind of a different Nova.
No, they go for Cat in the mid, trying to gain this priority once again and jump back into the first Tyrant because they have, look at the eyes from Redeem setting all over the river, getting full vision here.
I like those placements. Really solid placements by him is going to allow
Bottom
them to allow this pressure. First blood goes to Redeem.
Goes to Redeem, goes to the side of Nova, and they can take half down HP from this down tier 1 turret in the bottom.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage out there at only 2.5 minutes. Xian's putting pressure on Wuming. Yeah, Wuming going to see if he can push these minions out and then heal up that tower. Oh, but it's not going to be in time. He gets a knockback onto Redeem. The getaway comes out, puts him low, and Xian's forced to back off. Good positioning by Wuming. Meanwhile, they don't know that Nova's over here snagging this Tyrant. The snipe comes out by Allen. Dark Time will be defeated by Nova. and Cat with the rock out is just a little bit too slow to get in there.
Lacking of damage clearly because it's only 3 minutes in. Nobody have enough damage. Nobody have enough gold. And look how Hua Hai gets killed. First blood, the ultimate gets
Beautiful.
the finish kill.
He jumps into him, lands the point blank shotgun snipe, and then the getaway ult follow up will put him down. Great
Another
combos.
wave. They representing, you know, they send Dunshan to protect, to heal off, and
Yes,
send
that
Hua
siege
Hai
breaker.
to clean the waves. Clear distribution.
You know, this is one of the
Everyone
first
needs a
times
duty
we're
to
seeing
do.
the Dunshin get a lot of tower heal. Normally he's fighting behind, so he doesn't have time to do it, but this time he's healed that tower significantly.
This game is looking good for Nova because they're now 1,000 gold ahead of Easter Pro. Easter Pro is facing quite a bit of the stress because there's nothing that Old Master can do. Cat is going in.
Cat's going in
Solo!
with the rock out. He's got a double. Whoa! Double kill to Hua Hai.
RG is
They
here.
want more. Xian's already gone. Allen with that pick. Here is the turnaround Easter Pro needed.
Just by that skirmish in the blue, Easter Pro managed to turn this over using the flicker. The Cat has used whole damage out from his ultimate. 1 versus 2 managed to take down 2.
That
Strong,
was
explosive.
an insane
That's why.
trade.
That's a reason why I call it self-exploding bomb. You're risking your life. And the top lane.
Oh, on that top lane, Nguyen's really low. The knockout comes out. Meteor Storm will find him dead.
Nice rotation made by Xiao Chao, made by Zen.
This is what we're talking about. Nova always good at making the trades. They're still pretty even in gold. Only 500 gold deficit this time, and we're already at 5 minutes.
Oh, this is another Pangu versus Gong Sun Li. Top lane rotation made by Cat.
Ooh, Miyu is really low.
Can always go
Barely
back.
able to get away, but Wu Ming will not. The Wild Blood coming out by Xian with the combos, and the snipe onto Hua Hai sends him packing.
This accuracy is just insane. Every single snipe gets onto Hua Hai. There's nowhere Hua Hai can go. Even with the flicker, change of position does not save Hua Hai from getting on the snipe. Once again, going to the red, seeming good again for the side of Nova.
Good wave split over there. Looking for that means Nova's able to snag this tier 1 bottom side tower. That'll be the first tower of the game, and that is going to keep the gold lead in their favor.
Extending, snowballing from the side of Nova, taking the tier 1 turret in the
No,
bottom
he gets
lane.
knocked back, and he doesn't have the Wild Blood to get him away. He's forced to use that S2.
It's okay. He can always use the shield, use the second ability to win away from the battlefield, and Shin is trying his best to earn this energy to pull off his ultimate.
Blue buffs is spawning. Eastar's going to need to farm everything they can off their jungle before they can make any plays. They're already pushed pretty deep on the bottom side, and Shoyu is going to be free to move more easily across the map, see if he can keep getting snipes on to Eastar.
Look at Redeem, 111, 4,000 boots of dexterity, 1 nightmare, making towards a siege breaker, and the snipe just got banned from the umbrella. This is another counter.
Good block by Gong Sung Lee there is going to stop him from clearing the wave efficiently, and then we're going to see Eastar rotate first, but what they don't know is Nova's on that bottom side taking the Tyrant. The Wild Blood comes out on the top side to keep them safe. RG looking for something on the back line. Xian's forced to back out. He's just too low. Redeem is looking for the snipe. It's going to hit Cat. The rock out comes out, looking to kill Redeem. He's extremely low, but he's able to run out of there. Unfortunately, Allen will find him. Killing spree.
A smite just finished off the kill by Bali Shoyu. Bali Shoyu, Bali Shoyu has wasted a lot of time doing the snipes, and down there, Yuli pull off the ultimate.
Trying to grab that tower, but he had to force the Umbral Moon to back off.
With this scenario goes on, really will be unstoppable in the late game. Look how many gold this really have.
Yes.
Soloing with this management, with this wave on the bottom lane, and already got into the tier 2 turrets on the bottom. Eastar Pro needs to bring some awareness to Yuli right now.
No, even with the flicker, he's looking grim for Yuli. He doesn't look like he has the ability to take the turnaround. Xian still doesn't have ult here.
Hua Hai does not have enough damage, and even though Yuli has already used the flicker and the ultimate as once, but is always able to escape with the rotation and the protection provided by his teammates. And right now, 8 minutes in, it is where the Overlord finally spawned.
Good rotations by Nova has kept them alive and kept them trading. Overlord is alive now. Yule on this bottom lane taking a lot of damage. The Umbral Moon comes out. Oh, he's taken too low, and with the pullback, that's a rampage to Huahai.
He is nearly able to save using the first ability, but Nguyen is much more quicker with the second ability. Pull Miyue back, and Yue has nowhere to go.
Popping that Umbral Moon just a little bit too early there. There's nothing he can do to escape.
Finally,
Yeah,
Isa
the
Pro gets the
Overlord.
vision here.
This is looking good for E-Star. They were finally able to break through Nova's advances. First time we've got to see Nova head the rock out on the back line. Cat's able to find the pick on RG. The snipe comes out by Redeem, but it's way too early to take that Overlord, and now we've got the Vanguards.
I like this positioning. Normally, we would simply assume that the mage will be standing back, but it is Cat standing in the front, taking the snipe, trying to protect, constantly trying to protect this Overlord. This is how different Cat as a mid laner is.
Cat getting so much value out of that ult, out of that rock out, is able to get them low every single time. Not just one, but two. Always consistently getting 2 people low.
I have decided not to call Cat as a mid laner again. I call him tank.
Oh, the knockback by Wu Ming will get Zen knocked down as Wild Blood by Xian comes out, but it's not enough because Gong Sun Lee is able to put down that tower.
Cat is down.
Here we go with Cat offline. Nova might be able to turn things around. Nuyuen's looking extremely low. The damage is there. Xian finds the kill.
1, 2, 3 in favor Nova. It is 3 versus 4. Once Cat is down, Isa Pro have to go back.
Oh, here we
There's
go.
a wave in the
Redeem's
mid.
damage is on fire. He's able to snag down that tier 1 tower. Looking for a snipe. Ooh, the umbrella saves Huahai.
Got blocked by the umbrella, and once again Nova rush into the Stark Tyrant, and Easter Pro have 2 members down, not able to rotate to the Dark Tyrant hole.
Yeah, trying to block them off. Xian's putting a lot of pressure onto them, but they're already walking in there looking for the kill. RG's able to snag it.
Was able to snag it and went back to their jungle safely.
Looking for the ability over here to get a snipe, but he can't thread the needle. Good pressure by Nova means they'll be able to get rid of these Vanguards.
Look how they initiate the fight.
The Wild Blood coming in, soaking up so much damage, and then chip after chip after chip, Redeem putting in work.
The reason why Isa Pro is off to like a very defensive day in this scenario is because they're letting Huahai doing damage to the towers. So Huahai is not doing damage to any of the Nova players at that time. So they're missing like 2 seconds, 4 seconds time of their backline and doing the damage to their front line. So that's why Isa Pro is losing it in the team fights just now happened.
On top of that, it's pretty hard when you use all your abilities to dive one, right? They had really good focus on them under the tower, but that actually became their downfall because they used all their abilities on one guy. They couldn't get onto the back line. And, you know, and like you said, even if they could, Huahai's job was to get rid of those towers.
Yeah, they're trying to let Huahai decide what kind of movement, what kind of action he needs to take. And by now we're seeing 4 kills, only 1 death over 7,200 gold. 300 gold towards Huahai. Nicely farmed up.
Snipe onto the Cat. This is undoubtedly the best game that Nova's had against E-Star Pro in this entire series. Able to have gold lead multiple times and even come back at a gold deficit. This is the first time we've seen Nova compete at this level.
Completely. They have like more towers.
Yes.
And they have more jungles. They have a little bit more gold.
Also, just look at
right
Shoyue's positioning. I just love the positioning of his visions. They're perfect.
Yes.
Literally in both of the mid bushes and then back by the blue buff before it spawns. This is textbook over here.
Top lane, Allen with the ultimate, with a bolt, will always make his way back. Not a bit afraid of the Pangu. And yeah, I totally agreed. I love the vision that Redeem set for his entire team, not only for himself. So they're saving energy for the support for Xian to go there and check whether there's an enemy in the bush or not. One advantage of having Bali Shoei on your side, providing extra vision.
Now we can see that E-Star Pro is obviously a little bit more confident than Nova, even in this situation where you're about even. You've got E-Star Pro pushing in with pressure, right? They're literally in the mid lane bushes. They're looking for the setup. They're trying to do anything they can to get on to Nova Esports, but Nova just doesn't want to give them anything. They were not pushing out whatsoever. Overlord is up. Sniping to check the bush.
Doomsday by
This could be the
RG.
next engage. Nguyen looking for something here.
Both teams
Here
are
we
looking
go.
for
He
something.
finds it on Yulie. He wants to pop the Sage's Glory, but the Umbral Moon comes out first. Wild Blood is able to find 4. The snipe on Redeem. Cat is able to find his way onto Zen, and it is going to be a double kill as RNG goes down. A double kill to Wahai as well.
That's
this is
nearly
what E-Star Pro
an
needed.
ace. Unable to reach Redeem, unable to finish off the 5th kill.
Oh, the snipe onto Redeem. He needs
They
to
want
clear
to
this
finish the game. It will be a 4-0 in E-Star Pro. Whether E-Star Pro our Redeem
Here
can
we go.
finish
We
this
got the
wave.
mid waves crashing. Redeem trying very
Counter,
hard to
counter,
clear it.
counter.
He's not able to get it, and onto the back line they go. E-Star Pro!
Killing spree for the last second. And once again, out of expectation, everything is happening so fast on the stage.
Literally within seconds. We saw that game be extremely even. In fact, up until that last fight, both teams were basically even in gold. It was the clear determination, the clear confidence that E-Star Pro had to take that fight that won them that game.
A 4-0 over to E-Star Pro. It is E-Star Pro who can take the series. Congratulations in making your way to the semifinals.
Yes, congrats to E-Star Pro. You will be the 3rd team to make it to the semifinals. Unfortunately, that means Nova will be eliminated from the knockout stages.
Once again, let's give an applause to E-Star Pro's 5 players. Nicely done, representing the highest power for the whole KPL division.
And we saw that dominance out on the battlefield with a 4-0. Every single game until that last game was clear domination by E-Star Pro. Ahead in gold, ahead in damage, ahead in kills, ahead in games.
Congratulations to E-Star Pro on advancing to the semifinals. 恭喜 E-Star Pro 晋级半决赛。
Honestly, E-Star Pro, that last game, I don't even know who to give the MVP to. That was really hard. I think we're going to have a very
Preferably,
even game.
what would be like
Now,
Cat.
I was going to say, the only thing we can't go on is that Cat got to really show us that he can play these really flex pick heroes.
I mean, Cat is always making those advertisements for those not really favorite preferred character. You know, I just played. I wanted to practice Gao Jianli back when I was, having time and do the ranking. And let's see. E-Star Pro will make their way to the August 3rd, 2019, and they're probably gonna be matching up with whoever wins between QGhappy and RNG.M.
That's going to be a really close game tomorrow. Both of those teams very, very similar stats.
And it's I feel that it's a really it's so close, to Nova because they're getting better and better with time flies.
That last game, they had
50 to
lead.
50, absolutely 50 to 50, even trade, even scenario.
Yeah, they had gold lead for multiple times in that game, and even when they were behind, they came back, and then exactly that very last fight, 50-50 gold advantage. It went down to the team that had the more confidence, that had the more experience. That's legit what it was. We saw that Nova at 50-50, they were pushed to their base. They didn't know if they could really take the fights. They were backed up. Whereas E-Star Pro was like, we know that this is our power spike. This is the time to win, and they capitalized.
This is one team fight Nova really plays well because they have they're outnumbered their enemy during the team fights. And this one, look at Noya, look at Cat.
Cat is going to
the
grab
flicker.
this double with the rock out. And then the follow-up. The follow-up by the Gong Sung Lee, that damage is insane.
Like there, the 5 players standing there is like, let's say, they're shared. They're echoing with each other. They know exactly what they're gonna do. Nice communication must be going off by E-Star Pro. And right now we're seeing the data. E-Star Pro Cat KDA 418, E-Star Pro Huahai 614, Noyan 024, Allen 200. That's all.
Allen with no deaths. Well played, Allen. The hidden MVP.
Hidden MVP?
I still have to give it to Cat. Look at that, 92% kill participation. This Cat was everywhere.
And 39% of the damage contributed.
Yeah, almost 40%.
And taking up more than 25 damage from the enemy. Nice done. I mean, MVP, MVP, MVP.
Yeah,
goes to Cat.
he has, actually, if anything, if you had to choose just one stat to give it to him, it would be the 25% damage taken as the mage, right? Like 25% damage taken as the mage means that he had to be on the front line, he had to be playing that hero correctly. It's just downright impressive. And you can see the swinginess and evenness, literally even, in fact, even favoring Nova slightly until that very last fight.
Yeah, I've been saying that I'm decided no longer to call Cat as a mid laner. I will call him a frontliner. 25 of damage taken. MVP goes to Easter Pro Cat, KDA 418. Congratulations again. Nice play.
Average damage done 39, taken 25.
And right now, we're ready to hear what Cat wants to say to us.
I believe that Cat is going to have some very insightful information on that last game because he was insane. Once again, congratulations to E-Star Pro for making it to the semifinals.
You know, Linger was asking Cat, which team does Cat think who will win, be their counter, be their be their enemy in the semifinals, and Cat spent a long time considering which team will be stronger, which team will be better, and eventually he think that he wants to be matching up with RNG.M because they have like 1-2 fights before RNG.M, so he have more confidence when dealing with RNG.M. And one more thing is that Cat is kind of explaining to us why ESA Pro is choosing this kind of comp today. So we can see that they're literally freeing out a lot of flags picks. They're not putting every meta heroes in the same time within one game. They're saving a lot of meta heroes and separated in each game, and that's why they're having almost more dominant comps than their enemy does. That's one strategy.
Yeah, able to diversify all your heroes across the entire matches, that is going to allow you to, even if you go to game 6, you're going to have still really good heroes that you can employ.
Yes.
And that's why, yeah, you see Cat, he plays the things like the Gao Jianli, and you see all this crazy stuff come out, and it makes sense. It works for them, and it works well. Eaststar Pro absolutely dominating. I think it was interesting that, because we were talking about this earlier about the next games, RNG.M and QGhappy. That is going to be a very close game. I can't really decide which one I think will come out of that on top either.
Yeah, 50-50. So we are all of the audience, all of the casters are really expecting to see the match for tomorrow. QGhappy and RNG.M fighting for the very last spot to the semifinals. And the game will continue in the 2nd of August and the 3rd of August to put up the semifinals to us. And the first 2 days we have already witnessed an RW, and that's yesterday's game.
And unfortunately, with today's matchups, that means there are no more international region teams in the KCC. But congratulations to all of them for making it this far.
Hero, RW, ESA Pro. 3 teams already making to the semifinals. And tomorrow, let's see whether QGhappy or RNG.M can be the last one. And KCC is now on my TV Super channel 666 in Hong Kong. So if you wanna watch some more esports content in Cantonese, please visit the official platform MyDoyDoy app. Thank you for your support. And you know, I can speak a little bit Cantonese, but I cannot do the casting in Cantonese.
That would be a little bit too intense.
Yeah, too intense. Just
While we have some of this extra time here, I would like to sort of backtrack and talk about, since there's no more international region teams, what we think they did well, and could like improve on, right? Because I think the biggest thing that I noticed is just wave management, right? Having those rotations down and be on lock. Every single international region team could definitely lock that down better and be more prevalent in the fights, be going up against these KPL teams, at least head-to-head, instead of being behind a hero every single time.
You know, we are always witnessing, you know, those international region teams having a quite good opening in the first 2 minutes after first Tyrant, but it all comes weird and comes opposite. They are getting the KPL teams having opportunity to turn this over because they're losing. They started to losing one priority in one lane, and that's a breakthrough that KPL teams will fight for. And you know, when they're doing management in the early game, that's okay. They can play those pretty aggressive composition in the early game. They're going for the buff, they're going for the first blood, but nothing happens in the next stage. So that's where they really need to improve. And we're seeing the legendary board again, and ESA Pro Huahai getting one more legendary up, and which means he is #1 rated in our ranking board at this time. And right now we're seeing the whole chart of how many teams make it to the semifinals so far. Hero versus RW in the August 2nd, and ESA Pro will be facing another enemy, QGhappy or RNG.M, in the 3rd of August. Still in the 6 p.m. Just stay tuned.
Yes, will be happening tomorrow. There'll be another matchup, and that will be our 4th and final team moving on to the semifinals. Tensions are high.
Tensions are so high. I mean, I tried to predict who can win, you know, for QGhappy and RNG.M. And you know, what's interesting is that they kind of, like Kat said earlier, they're kind of similar in their game style.
See, because before the KCC, my money definitely would have been on RNG.M. But I feel that with what we've seen from the performances, like I've seen QGhappy do a lot of good things in the group stages.
Of course.
And RNG.M has kind of struggled with figuring out where a lot of their heroes play. Now, because they're the very last match, they've had a lot of time to really learn and lock it down. And quite honestly, maybe they were just saving a lot of stuff for when it really mattered to them. So that's why it's extremely hard to tell, because these teams look head-to-head even.
You know, one thing I am for sure is that QGhappy will behave so differently when they have the marksman in their composition. When they're sending her to do the marksman, we're usually Hurt is one of the best marksmen I can possibly think of in the whole entire KPLT league, and that's why QGhappy has such a strong reliance towards Hurt, and that's why we're seeing a lot of very strong teams are facing difficulties because they have using that strategy for a long time, which means their enemy have enough time to study and to find a weakness from your comms, and that's the reason why QGhappy is not the best team or won the Champion Cup or won any honor in the last season, because they have been studied fully and thoroughly.
Really interesting because it literally comes down to experience, not only between the KR, KPL, and the KPL teams, but just between the KPL teams themselves, right? The other teams having the experience of dealing with all those different marksmen, knowing how to shut down one hero when they really shine. That difference shows in between the teams themselves, just like you're talking about. Just having that experience is what makes it so hard.
I think it's really important to those teams to really to imply what ESA Pro is playing right now.
Exactly.
They're letting their enemy having problems identify who will be the core, who will be the target within the game, because each member, 5 members, have all duties to do within the game, so which makes their enemy really hard to do the ban draft as we've seen earlier.
Yes, and I think with that, that's something that we can really highlight through this entire series. E-Star Pro doesn't rely on any one person, and that's what makes them so formidable. They can employ multiple different strategies and multiple different heroes, just like Kat was talking about, to do those strategies. That is something that just allows them to be so dominating as a KPL team, and the other teams are going to have to take note and figure out how they can replicate it.
Completely agreed. And right now, just thank you for your stay tuned. Thank you for watching the stream, and we will see you tomorrow at the same time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.